Welcome to this very morning. It is 6:58, not even 7 o'clock, and from my neighborhood where there's community fridge right here, community fridge. I gotta accept the beautiful. I serve sometimes. I take more than I put nowadays, and we got this Sunshine Food Pantry. See, there's a Sunshine Food Pantry here from my neighborhood, NDG. We're gonna go on a ride all the way to the mountain with yours truly on this early Monday, that Monday vlog. I only slept about 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours, but I was a bit moody, washed up, and so I'm gonna go to the mountain and gonna dedicate this one to my anonymous friend, who wasn't my friend because of the money, because I never had any, and blah 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 blah. If I make a million, gonna give her half, blah blah, and to my fellow Aspies, Asperger's, people with Asperger's were neurodivergent. Not Asperger's is not a mental illness; it is a symptom of neurodivergence. So we have obsessive interests. My obsessive interest being the holy trinity of Rainbow Dragon, geopolitics 24/7 to study the analysis of geopolitics. I'm an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and philosopher, artist, athlete, and yours truly a bit of rock and roll with that, and a mystic as well. So on the vlog now for the farmers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors. So I was a bit moody, but I said, hey, I'm gonna go to my second home Monday, start Monday geopolitical series for my fellow Aspies as well. So I will to begin commence with discussing a little bit of the Asperger's, my acceptance over the past 45 months, about 45 months, 3.5 years, since I started accepting my neurological mental divergent conditions known as Asperger's, and of course it has been a road of understanding, and fellow Aspies will know that certain topics such as gossip kind of eludes us, and we don't fully understand it, and we don't fully see the point, and we rather just approach and with people directly and manage things directly and upfront, whatever it is. Yours truly, Rainbow Dragon, being a human being who has the neurological divergent mental condition known as high functioning autism or Asperger's, and I got my obsessive interest, and I'm obsessed about sports, fitness, and dancing is my favorite sport, and I love you, of course, dancing, rock and roll. My 49ers give some chatty, they won yesterday, and now we're gonna go straight towards the mountain on the way, and always encouraging people to work out, like my fellow citizen there who had a little bit of a workout and had that good workout, and always get to go, and always managing the symptoms, and seeing people on the work, and meditating on the truckers, the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, and all the work that's undergoing now across what I call the Collective North American Civilisation Complex. So this Monday we're gonna go on that vlog all the way to the mountain. It's a rare occasion, and now you can see all the road that I do in the past years and years and years, the amount of marching, and gotta salute the firefighters. LOV to our firefighters, and LOV to our firefighters, LOV to the butchers, and LOV to the cooks, LOV to the Canadian Armed Forces, which I saw yesterday at the mountain. Gotta give them a little bit of that salute. And my 49ers had a good game yesterday. They won a good game. And what's that? I don't know what that is. Let me check. For donation? Wow. Sports pads? Maybe. I'm not sure. Could I put some use? Maybe. For the hand? I guess they're donated, but I don't know if I come back later. When I come back, if I'll be closer to home, but I don't want to carry them now. But it looks like some fun pads people donated, and back to Asperger's, because I'm gonna dedicate today mainly to my fellow Aspies. Go Aspies, go! It's a Monday morning, and I've suffered, I've struggled, and I got plenty of scars. Survived COVID, been suicidal and depressed. Today, the last day of September, so I'm still celebrating today, the last day since I crossed Canada coast to coast, coast to coast, and that event in my life completely changed my life and turned my life over. I left a very moldy place. I was depressed, suicidal, and crossed Canada coast to coast, and that event made me come out of depression, being depressed and suicidal. And ever since then, I've been on the fitness journey. I began my fitness journey 2017 when I crossed Canada coast to coast. And I remember leaving a moldy place. There was lots of mold and I was sick ill. I have blackouts, 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 blackouts. Like what's, I think official terminology is called rah, 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 rah. Retrograde amnesia. And cannot have blackouts of memory what happened prior to that, to me moving to this new place and embarked on the fitness journey and started working out and started training, started exercising and started being on the drill, being on the drill, being on the drill. And gotta salute their athletes as well. Give them some free tickets. San Francisco 49ers, their athletes, gotta give them some free tickets and discounts. And public workers are gonna cross to the light, gonna go across to the lights in there. So I don't interject, but I want to give a little bit of shout out to the public workers picking up the garbage, the compost, the recycling, those big trucks. When I see them, I always say, well, you know, we need new trucks, and they're also athletes. So my call, of course, to the NFL, National Football League, National Hockey League, NHL, NBA is to, of course, give and provide some free tickets. See, they're gonna pick up the garbage later. I have to be back by 3 to take the garbage out. And I always meditate all across the collective North American complex, of course. What they're doing, all their work and labor, which was done in the past and which they're gonna do now today. Those are athletes. Please, NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. Please give them some tickets. Some tickets to the public workers, firefighters with it, and discount 44% because that's my estimated cost of the increase of the life, the cost of living from 2020 February, March when I had COVID. And for me, COVID, it was like death, pestilence, and disease, death, pestilence, and disease, death, pestilence, death, pestilence, and disease. I know that. I say, for me, COVID was like death, pestilence, and disease. It sounds like a rock and roll song, and you know I love the rock and roll, and rock and roll is my obsessive interest as well, parallel with geopolitics, the study of geopolitics. Geopolitical analyst and theorist, theoretical analyst, I am, and you know, ASPIEs, we have obsessive interests, so when we are engaged in those obsessive interests, that's when we are engaged in those obsessive interests, and of course, that's when we, of course, excel. We excel. That is our domain, our kingdom. Geopolitics. 24/7 geopolitics. So geopolitical analysis, theorizing, theoretical analytics, or geopolitics in general is my obsessive interest. So back to Asperger's. Being an ASPIE, of course, neurodivergent. So it's not a mental illness. It's a high-functioning autism, aka Asperger's. Some theories is that it's a step towards an evolutionary process, towards an evolutionary process. Wow, look at the beautiful flowers. Beautiful flowers. Wow, those are nice. Good morning. Do you know how those are called?
No, I don't.
These. They're so.
The yellow ones? No, I don't know.
They're really something special, eh? I
You
keep
should
on.
take a picture and look online.
Oh yeah. Good
They
idea.
have like a plant identification.
Oh yeah. There's an app, eh? Take care, buddy. Bye. These ones also. That was a fellow that I discussed with here. This one's also gorgeous. See? I don't know. I just love. Now you know I love my yellow flowers, but these ones also are super good at. I don't know these are the same, but. And that was a friend there who. I remember speaking with him during COVID. We had a chat about. I think I was wearing the halves, and we were discussing about the halves, but these ones also. These yellow ones, eh? Yellow ones. I love yellow flowers, anyways. So we're gonna go to the mountain, Mount Royal, my second home from my first home, and as always, we're gonna drill it a little bit of a discussion, and we're gonna discuss geopolitics. We're gonna discuss Asperger's. We're gonna discuss my hopes and dreams, and my fears, my scars, and You know, I have scars on my body, literally, not in an abstract way, and I have some scars on the body and somewhere on the bodies, all over the body, if you will. It's been a healing process, healing journey the past years, and surviving COVID since February, March, and I was hit by COVID. I said, wow, COVID is, thought I was gonna die. In many ways, I said, oh, I'm gonna be reborn and die and be reborn and die, and I'm being reborn right now with every step towards the sun. Now I'm going east, 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 east. When I come back west. So I could be saying that I'm going towards the sun, sunrise, sunrise, sunrise. Or I come back, I come towards the sunset, right? And is that autumn, autumn, autumn? And Asperger's, you know, we have a routine. So for, let's say, 7 years, my routine is waking up, doing my meditative spirituality, because I'm also a mystic, I'm also a philosopher, I'm also an artist, I'm also an athlete, and I'm a geopolitical analyst and theorist, or theoretical analyst. Theoretical analyst, I guess they go together, but they can be circumstantial depending on exactly specific analysis of a specific, more specific geopolitical event. And of course, I gotta say again that I predicted what's happening now back in 2019 is gonna be 5 years soon, in a general manner, not in an overall detailed manner, but in a general manner. I predicted an international conflagration back in 2019. Back in 2019, I predicted the national conflagration. So that was my prediction based on an analysis, an in-depth analysis of the current, back then in 2019 in October, of the geopolitical events which had unfolded, and of course of the geopolitical events which I've prognosticated that will continue to unfold in the coming days, weeks and months ahead, and weeks and months ahead, weeks and months ahead, and weeks and months ahead, weeks and months ahead. And I've been on the go, and now I'm going all the way to the mountain, you know, and suffered a lot, struggled a lot, you know. Now I'm just financially stressed. My only stress now is financial, you know. My only stress now is financial. My only stress now is financial. My only stress now is financial, I would say, you know, the finances. But of course, I got some theories, and I'm open for business. And when we get to the top of the mountain, I'm gonna count my rent money. I gotta pay rent. Tomorrow is October, and I say I pay fair rent, and I'm grateful, thankful for where I live. It's better than where I used to live. There was lots of mold, you know. So where I used to live was lots of mold, and lots of mold, you know, lots of mold. And I left that place, moved, and gotta get around that circumstantial on the movement, and gotta get around the circumstantial with the move, and moved, and got out of depression. But that event, last day today, I guess, because it was in August and September. August I went to BC, Vancouver, British Columbia, and then in September went to Halifax, Nova Scotia. You know, to Halifax, Nova Scotia, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Halifax, Nova Scotia. You know, Halifax, Nova Scotia. You know, so there's a little bit on that yellow, and we gotta get it on the go, and always gotta, you know, sometimes it takes work on the self, and to be able to help somebody else, you know. And I guess I always gotta stress the importance of regular physical exercise, regular physical exercise, regular physical exercise, regular physical exercise. And I'm doing this work. People can laugh because I'm working with I don't have a GoPro, and I'm filming with a laptop, you know. And I'm glad that I have the laptop. You know, I've been hundreds of videos posted online, more than 1,000 now, hundreds of marching videos over COVID, and done with the laptop. So it kind of served it, because I'm work, arbeit, now, and that's it. Like we say in French here, Quebecers, travail. But a lot of my work has been independent, and I had a lot of employments during COVID. But you know, with Asperger's, it can be problematic. You know, I lost a lot of friends I made over the past 7 years. I made lots of friends, especially at the Pride parades, being, of course, on that Rainbow Dragon. You know, being on the Rainbow Dragon, and I'm androgynous pansexual, but that's just a side of me. And when I discuss politics or do political analysis, it is, of course, something which that part aspect of me has to be kind of perhaps neglected in many ways, and understand that my Asperger's, aka high functioning autism, makes me predisposed to obsessive interest. And most of our days, ASPIEs, those obsessive interest preoccupy the majority of our time, right? So when we're involved in geopolitical analysis, that's where but for me it's geopolitics. For some ASPIEs it can be something else. It could be science. It could be science. Could be science, could be math, could be computers, could be history, could be arts, could be so many different things. My obsessive interest is geopolitics. Geopolitics. Study, the analysis, everything that has to do with knowledge, information, wisdom of geopolitics. So to the point that I have become an independent geopolitical analyst and theorist who, again, I reiterate and repeat, and being repetition is a part of being an ASPIE. It's not because I'm an ASPIE, but because it's important to note in my development over the years and my work that I predicted the current situation in the world. In a general manner, I predicted an international conflagration. An international conflagration. International conflagration and international conflagration back in 2019. In 2019. So now I will to discuss a symptom of Asperger's, which again, Aspie's is neurodivergence, is not mental illness, and people with Asperger's, high functioning autism will know and state. Of course, some have different intensities and levels and degrees of the symptoms which manifest at a given point in time. And I gotta cross now because gotta get it on the go and gotta salute. Ah, mais je vais aller par là. Merci. Bonne journée à vous. Anyways, what a nice lady. What a nice lady. Yeah, I stopped because of the dogs, Because sometimes I get the allergic reaction to dogs, So, yeah. And the smoke. Cigarette smoke makes me a bit. That's why. But nonetheless, I stopped to let the lady because some dogs makes me allergic, Depending on the fur. On the fur, on the fur. On the fur. On the fur, On the fur side. Anyways, so to the mountain we go, and I'm a bit obsessed about public transportation. And of course, we gotta get it on the go, and what a strange, beautiful car. Anyways, if you've seen many of my videos, sometimes I turn the head like 3 times, left and right, because you never know, the brakes might malfunction, eh? What if the brakes malfunction? 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 So the brakes malfunction. What if the brakes malfunction? The brakes can malfunction. So turn your heads. Be careful when you turn your heads. Be careful when you turn your heads, Turn your heads left or right, turn your heads left or right. Turn your heads left or right, you know. Be mindful that the brakes can malfunction in the corner. So be careful when you cross the streets, especially with an animal, with a dog like that, you know. You see him? What if the brakes malfunction? What if it leaves? It doesn't stop. What if the citizen presses the accelerator instead of the brake? What if there's a solar flare, blinds the driver, and they get hit by the car? So, I know, solar flares seem to be on the increase, and stress. I'm living financial stress, but I'm doing public transit, and you know, I'm driving these shoes, and I'm auctioning these shoes. These shoes, gonna have to say a million. Auction gonna start at a million, and you know, here I gotta wait for the traffic lights. Basically, what I'm saying is that in the public, I got added responsibilities, duties, and obligations, which I don't have under the normal circumstances of life. If I would have stayed home, the children are happy, I'm happy. He pointed with the finger, started being joyful, bounced it out, up and down, bounced up and down, bounced up and down, bounced up and down, you know. That's made my day. That child joy of the children and security, safety, liberty, and I got some rock and roll songs for the youth, and I'm doing this vlog now, you know, and I love you know, love is important because it's not all about fighting, you know. It's not all about fighting to fight. Yeah, you can fight. It's important in some circumstances to fight, but sometimes you gotta get that LOV also, you know. You gotta get that LOV. So here we are in the sun, you know, in the sun. I predicted what's happening now back in 2019. I'm gonna salute my king, the sun, because I do like sun salutations. I say, bury me with Papa Crowley up in New Jersey. Turn my head left and right because I'm in the public and I got added responsibilities, duties, obligations, which I would not have under the normal circumstances of life. And gotta say, my 49ers, great game. Please give to charity millionaires. And I'm not gonna name names, but got a new contract, 4 years, 120 million. That's divided by 4. That's about 30 million a year. Give 10%. 10% is 3 million. 10% of 30 million a year, or if you make anywhere between 3 million and 44 million a year playing whatever sports, basketball, hockey, gridiron, and baseball, please give 10% millionaire owners and players. Women's sports leagues, LGBTQ causes, women's sports leagues, and environmental causes. All those things. Gotta go towards the sun. Financially stressed, but got trillions of steps, trillions of kisses. Geopolitics is my kingdom, my arena, my domain. Although I have Asperger's, I'm also a mystic. I'm just gonna gaze a little bit of the sun and turn the head left and right and continue on my march east. East, we're going east. It's, what time is it? 7:21, and I'm a bit on the thirsty side, and I'm gonna go get back to Asperger's. It's gonna be mostly an ASPIE day. ASPIE Monday, and dedicated to my fellow Aspies, you know, to my fellow Aspies today. Neurodivergence, you know, and a lot of Aspies have suffered, like myself, with chronic unemployment or different employments, not being employed, or being employed and then laid off, and due to our condition, which can manifest with weird. I've said it 5 times, but that's another symptom of Asperger's, repeating things 2-3 times. And there's no medication for Asperger's. I just have to work on my symptoms, you know. So my symptoms are general symptoms of Asperger's, aka high functioning autism, are obsessive interest, repetitive movements, and sometimes clumsiness, and of course weird social interactions and getting too close to people. When we converse, we breach personal space. So those concepts of personal space, you know, when we discuss with people, to those social distancing, like when we discuss, we can get very close, and I guess that can be very annoying, you know. That can be very upsetting for neurotypicals, you know, for neurotypicals. And another one which I gotta discuss today is gossip. Is gossip in the workplace, gossip in the work, gossip and stuff like that. Many ASPIEs, and it's a general symptom of Asperger's, I guess, perhaps sometimes for the good. We don't really grasp. We ASPIEs don't engage in that, but because we don't. It's kind of to explain it from an ASPIE neurotypical position, being myself as an ASPIE, is that we don't understand it really. Not that we don't understand it in the ways some ASPIEs do more than others. Is because we don't really see the point in finding solutions, or navigating, or doing, in terms of doing, and whatever the task, whatever is required to do, whatever's the task at hand, whatever we gotta do, whatever we gotta do, you know. Anyways, so that's the neuro. One very important to note symptom of Asperger's. I'm just gonna go hydrate in the park. So I'm really thirsty, so I guess the closest for me would be there. Going towards the sun a bit, and then I'll circumvent, continue my journey east. So gossip, you know, when we gossip about people, who said that, who said she did that. If it's something wrong, we rather discuss it face to face, because then we ask, we apologize, and we say we can do to. But what can we do? You know, we're more to do things, and people think we lack compassion and empathy. The thing is not that, is that we do not console verbally. We do not necessarily. Oh, they're leaving, the birds. We do not necessarily show our compassion and empathy by verbal consolations. We will show it by action. Can I do something? So, for example, you would say, well, me being rainbow, whatever, if you're XYZ, being androgynous, pansexual, rainbow dragon, geopolitical analyst and theorist, you get that half, 50-50 androgyny, but whatever the case may be. Let's say you're sore after a workout. If you're sore, we meet together and say, I'm so sore, I just had a rough day at work. I'm gonna say, oh, so we're not gonna say like we're sorry for you, or we're just gonna probably ask if we're not tired ourselves. We're gonna ask, you want a massage, or can I do something, or so that's the difference between ASPIEs or workplace gossip. You're gonna say, well, can we work this together, rather than discussing the motives and the movements of a certain person. And ASPIEs, sometimes we have bizarre, repetitive body movements and clumsiness, but if an ASPIE likes a certain sport, then he'll be obsessed with the movements in that sport. So me, of course, I love to dance. So being obsessed with dance, we gotta get it on the obsession with the dance. That's it. So that's what we gotta go do it with that. And here I would love to paint the benches. There's not a lot of people here, but it's a beautiful morning day, but I am just really, really thirsty. So I said I'm gonna get it on the go, and get it on the go as much as I can for now, and they gotta get it on the now, you know. So we gotta go towards the sun a bit, and somebody's working out a bit in that. Going, oh my gosh, people, please, trash. Don't leave that there like that. Don't leave. That's why we got public workers. We got public workers. Put it in the trash. Put it in the trash. Put it in the trash. Hydrate. Thank you, workers who build this new fountain here. Thank you, workers who build this new fountain. Thank you, public workers. Imagine all that labor underneath. Let's go. HYDRAT, Dragon Army, rock and roll to the mountain. Oh yeah. Whew. And of course, I'm always when I march, I'm always engaged in a meditative state, in a meditative state, and always thinking about the activities from a geopolitical defense, strategic point of view. As a philosopher, always thinking about what's happening now across the collective North American civilization, 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 and that's what it is with now. And say I got this beautiful garden here, with beautiful flowers, and we gotta go get it on the drill, man. There's a dog park here that you can engage in. See, you got a dog park. It's kind of nice. Really a nice dog park, I gotta say. It's really nice. But the problem with certain species of dogs is that if I pet them, if I pet them too, or they get too close, depending on the fur length and thickness, I get a bit of I start having allergic reactions, allergic reactions, allergic reactions. So I get allergies. So that's what it is, and that's what it is with that. We're just gonna circumvent a bit, stretch a bit our back. Stretch a bit. I go to the mountain, go to the mountain, and meditate, and again discuss gossip, gossip. Most ASPIEs, most ASPIEs will not engage in gossip, not because we don't have nothing to say. It's because we don't really understand it. But it's not necessarily the understanding from a perspective of a neurotypical, is that really we understand it from an ASPIE perspective. So an ASPIE perspective is that there's really a pointless, it's really not necessarily to solve conflicts, it's really not really necessary to find solution, it's really not necessary for pleasure, business, or purpose. From an ASPIE perspective, and Asperger's, we're like what, 1 out of 300, 0.44, 0.44%. Look at you go. Wow, fellow citizen there doing some rock and roll, go, I always say. And my fellow cousins there, I consider Quebecers, Canadians, my family, North Americans. But since I crossed Canada coast to coast in 2017, when I march, of course, I consider my fellow citizens there family. And that's what it is with that. And we gotta get on the go, as we go to the mountain. And we always gotta interject for the for the lovers, for the butchers, for the bakers, for the nurses, for the doctors, for the cooks, for the truckers, for all those involved in the production and the distribution of food, you know. We gotta get it on the go, so we go for the mountain, you know. That's what it is with that, you know. So we go to the mountain and we apply for jobs and gonna go back to the CV and I gotta go towards the sun, and I gotta go, wow, the sun. So back to gossip. Gotta salute the truckers, the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the grocery store clerks, all involved in the production, distribution of food, and all those cooks now, all those involved in the, see how many trucks they go there, left, right, and center. And there's the police there. I guess he went too fast. You gotta watch it for the babies. There with the children, and you gotta watch it. See, you went too fast, and there's a baby carriage. Well, not really babies; they're like 5-year-olds, from what I can tell, with the carriage, and they're 5. And you know, we got our brothers and sisters. Nobody perfect. I ain't rapping with none of y'all. I'm not rapping with none of y'all, till y'all make peace with the police, peace with the police. I ain't rapping featuring none of y'all, till y'all make peace with the police, peace with the police. Watch it when you cross the streets, there's babies in the carriage, please, baby, the carriage, please. Watch it when you cross the streets. How fast you go, don't drink and drive, there's babies in the carriages, please, please. I ain't rapping with none of y'all, featuring none of y'all, till you make peace with the police, peace with the police, peace with the police. I ain't rapping with none of y'all, till you make peace with the police, peace with the police, peace with the police. I ain't rapping with none of y'all, till you make peace with the police, peace with the police, peace with the police. Don't drink and drive, there's babies in the carriage and crossing the streets, crossing the streets. Don't drink and drive, there's babies in the carriages crossing the streets, crossing the streets. I ain't featuring none of y'all till you make peace with the police, peace with the police, peace with the police. That's a song I rock and roll rap and have Asperger's, but I just saw there, see, there was the police checking the speed, and there's my cousin's sister crossing with 2 young toddlers, 5-year-old, I believe 5, and they went fast. It went too fast, and it was there to cross. And you know, that's why I got speed limits. That's why I got don't drink and drive. We got certain protocols in the public. I'm not perfect, far from it, but we got certain protocols which we have to discern when we are in the public. You know, we are in the public. You know, nobody's perfect. I also have perhaps subconscious racism and all that, but when my brothers and sisters, you know, when my brothers and sisters, black, my neighbors being black, 13.3, 13.4%, my brothers and sisters of North America are blacks, you know, so if I put something on the table, it's kisses, just like I put for anybody else. Kisses, tickles, hugs, rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll, kisses, hugs, tickles, rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll, kisses, hugs, rock and roll, rock and roll. Because nobody's perfect. We all deserve second chances, and I believe in the past years I've been having my second chance, especially since I survived COVID back in February, March, you know. I survived COVID. And I believe that's my second chance. For me personally, that is like my second chance. And we all need redemption, and we all need a second chance. And in the streets, we got added responsibilities, obligations, and duties that are not the same. See, here it's a one-way street. Now I gotta evaluate. That means that they can only come from there. So do I turn? That they have to only go north, north, north. That's south, 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 south. So they can only go from south north here. because it's one way, right? See, that's the one way. So being that that is one way, they can only go one way. But it happens that sometimes they don't do that. It happens that sometimes the car, right? It happens sometimes that the car doesn't stop. Doesn't stop, right? Doesn't stop. Doesn't stop. Just gotta wait a bit. I'm gonna go around. For safety, I'm gonna go around and do meditations. Now, geopolitical meditations before I go on, I gotta cross the street safely. Let's see. I'm gonna have to wait. That's the one way. But that car gave me a good idea, all this. Marcelo. Oops. All that gave me a good idea. Give me a good idea. The car that was mounted like that gave me a good idea for the development of defensive instruments. You see that how was there with a one seat? How we can build rockets, missiles like this. See, these are five logs. We can build North American Defense Collective and build North American Defense Collective to get coast to coast. To build, I'm calling for a public NORAD, Dragon Public Private Partnership, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, they're all different sizes. They're smaller, then they get gradually bigger. So that we can have 5 different types of rockets. Exactly 5 different types of rockets. Rocket like that, really rockets that can travel hundreds of kilometers, hundreds of miles to intercept coast to coast. Basically what I'm calling is for the North American Hawk, Sky, Land, Scorpio, part of the Operation Northern Scorpio. My geopolitical defense only. The defense of the collective North American civilizational complex. So for defense only. Gotta get it on that defense. And we gotta get it on the go. So that's what I want to build. Rockets like that to get it on the coast to coast to defend those rockets. Basically to have coast to coast rockets, coast to coast platforms like that, like I saw there for the defense of the collective North American civilizational complex, coast to coast. So basically to intercept, be able to build interceptors, to be able to defend the plateau from east, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. So now I'm just gonna circumvent there since there's a lot of traffic here. I'm gonna go. Actually, I guess I could go roundabout. Cause, anyways, I'll be on the mountain, so I'm gonna get my fresh air. But nonetheless, so that just inspired me, cause it's geopolitics 24/7 with yours truly. So it's the study, the analysis of geopolitics 24/7. And in geopolitics, you have to have a certain awareness, certain connection. Of course, geopolitical war and defense is one of the major pillars in the study, the analysis of geopolitics. So defensive capabilities, whatever the case may be, military capabilities, technical, human, whatever the case may be. But that flash there, that event, of course, inspired me to now think from a geopolitical perspective, we're gonna go down. We're gonna zigzag all the way to the mountain. So we're gonna go north, south, north, south. Now we're going south again. So from a geopolitical perspective, the point is that, of course, I just had a vision, part of my ongoing Dragonomy, which is a public-private partnership call. So everything that I call my initiatives, my philosophies are fundamentally for a public-private partnership, fundamentally for a PPP, public-private partnership across what I call the collective North American civilizational complex, across what I call the collective North American civilizational complex, across what I call the North American Greater Civilizational Complex, which is a philosopher, I believe, and I know to be that North Americans, we constitute a collective civilization, a complex, complex, not only a complex in the psychological terms that we have certain complexes, but nonetheless, a complex is in the multifactorial factors of a civilizational integrated union that has been emerging since the Second World War, which is not totally divergent but is distinct from Western civilization. So that is where we're gonna end it with that. So what I saw is basically trans. What I saw basically was, of course, the mounted equipment, steel. It's gonna take steel and hardware and steel, but it takes soft. It's not all about strength. It's not all about fighting. It takes a little bit of love. And the children now, some loving, some soft, some pillow. My bed, I gotta be grateful for my bed. Now I have a bed. That's better. I sleep better. It's better where I am now than where I used to live. So my life has improved in the past years, and just financial stress. And I'm working on my Asperger's. And before I go back to gossip, is of course I will to state, of course, that is the proponency is, of course, that we gotta build defense. And my initiatives are defensive only. You gotta understand that fully. That my geopolitical analysis and philosophies and military tactics and strategies are mostly for a defensive position, defensive from a North American perspective. So from a North American collective perspective, for a defense coast to coast, ocean to ocean. So what I saw there, of course, was a big machine that is used, of course, in landscaping, to cut the trees, of course, the plateau, or to install whatever needs to be installed for the Hydro-Quebec. Just gonna wait here and make sure that I cross. Mm. Oh yeah, gotta love the youth, man. Speaking about the youth, I say as a new protocol for the NORAD, and somebody who is a mystic and believes, like George Patton, the four-star general who served in the Second World War, in reincarnations. Just read Three Glass Darkly, Three Glass Darkly, Three Glass Darkly, Three Glass Darkly. Three Glass Darkly is one of my favorite poems, and I believe, I know, because on the mountain, my second home, amoureu, I have flashes of reincarnations, flashes, flashes of reincarnations. So those flashes of reincarnations, I was born 3 times in the USA, once as a woman, twice as a man, served in 2 different wars, 156 years apart, 156 years apart, 156 years apart, 156 years apart, 156, 156 years apart, 156 years apart. So served in the United States Army in 2 different wars. Kind of like this house here. Kind of like it. This one also. This one's for sale. Let's go, Celine, Taylor Swift, Beyonce. Let's go, my Scorpio brother, Bill Gates, LOV. I would split 50-50 with my anonymous friend. I could live up, down, and we can switch. This for sale. Martin Rouleau, give it a call, 514-933-9998, 514-933-9918, 514-933-9998. So this house is for sale, and I could live there with my friend, half and half, half and half. And look at the beautiful city. You see it on the sunrise and sunsets. And now I'm just gonna turn my head left and right. There's stop signs, but you never know. You know? Wow, what a beautiful island, man! Island metropolis. 2.5 million people. 2.5 million people. 2.5 million people live on the island. Live on the island. So it's like a small city. That one too I kind of like. That one looks a bit, it's big. It's mansion-like, but I kind of like how it's featured on the side. It looks like it was added on. So it's kind of nice. There's nice houses here in Westmount, of course. And this one is also for sale. 514-344-4445. 514-344-4445. 514-344-4445. That's why I say watch it, you know, the sun's intense. And here I'm gonna just wait for my fellow plus with their children. Fellow across with their children. And that's why I got out of the way, you know. Anyways, you gotta get around there too. We got some good music. I always love to dance, and I saw a little bit of pumpkin, you know, pumpkin. Saw pumpkin. That's a nice blue. Really nice blue. The car was unusual blue. I wonder if it's custom made. Anyways, so back to what I was saying, is of course the need to build defense. I would envision a few hundred of them. A few hundred of them, you know? Coast to coast, just like I saw that one, but of course build modern. Anyways, watch the car. Always gotta be on the attentive side to wait patiently. Watch the car. Anyways, so back to what I was saying, that I envisioned like I just saw there, you know. So that's what I saw there. And of course that gave me, of course, an idea. But the ideas is, of course, part of my ongoing protocols from back in 2019. So that's what it is. So to build, of course, 20, more than 20, in the hundreds. I'm gonna turn my head left to right, and I gotta note before I do that's Lion Company is an electric company here in Quebec. See, 100% electric. So I gotta salute. Gotta salute, man. Electric production in Quebec, go. North American electric production, go. That's what we gotta go do it on. So back to what I was saying is that we need to build. We need to build, coast to coast, coast to coast, coast to coast, strong defensive capabilities to intercept ICBMs. So those that I envision would be in theory, we can do it because we have the meat, just needs the financing. So I just have had flashes, and you gotta understand that since 2019 in October, I've been in a World War III type of mode, and I got proof of work, and then I've been, of course, predicted the current situation, the current analysis, and the current situation that's unfolding now. Again, in a general manner. Again, in a general manner. So, not in an overall manner, in a general manner. So, that has to be understood, you know? That has to be understood. So, it wasn't in every detail by every detail, but it was in a general manner, in a general manner, in a general manner, right? So, it was in a general manner, not details, not XYZ, this is gonna happen exactly, but nonetheless, in a general manner, I predicted it. So we're gonna get on the. Here we're gonna go hydrate again. Super thirsty, man. Just gonna wait for my citizen to get on the go. There we go. We made it to the sun. Oh yeah. Look at that beauty, man. Gonna do my sun salutations. Autumn sun salutations. Get that crawly telemites. Oh yeah. That was good. That was good. That was good. Sun now rises and now sets, and takes that fire and that water, takes that fire and that water, takes that fire and that water. So gonna hydrate. Thank you, public workers, who built. Imagine all the work underneath done, all the brains, all the muscle, all the brains, all the muscle, all the brains and all the muscle. Thank you, public workers on the ground now. Firefighters, butchers, bakers, those daycare workers who are about to change some diapers. It's 7:57, so maybe at after 8, after 9, at noon, at 3 o'clock throughout the day. Let's go. Oh yeah. Whew. Oh, that was much needed to get a little bit of that hydration over there, man. So imagine all the work just to have that water there in the 20th century underneath. How many pipes underneath, eh? The whole city. There's layers and layers and layers of pipes. There's so much work, public works. Imagine, you gotta just see the workers who build it. Public workers all across Montreal, the big metropolis, just to get that water there, the water fountain. So the civilization is a privilege, you know. That was my thesis back in 2023. The, the privilege of civilization, 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 privilege of civilization, you know. So that's what it is, that's what it is, that's what it is, that's what it is. You know, that's what it is with that. That's what it is. So the privilege of civilization, the privilege of civilization, you know, that's what we gotta get doing with that, you know. So it's not all about strength, it's not all about force, it's not all about power, it's not all about takes that love as well, you know. Takes that love, takes that understanding, takes that soft. And now back to gossip. So from an ASPIE perspective. So it's not necessarily that we do not understand it, it's just that we do not we do not understand it from a neurotypical perspective. So basically, to break it down simply, is that we kind of don't see the point in finding solutions, in finding. So we rather just discuss things to do, or geopolitics, history. Sure, you have to discuss people when you discuss geopolitics, and you have to understand their philosophies, their ideologies. But certain gossip like that, he did, she said that, he did that, or whatever the case may be, assumptive speculation, assumptions, whatever the case may be, those things we do not really engage in. So yes, I could discuss Vladimir Putin's dialogue because it's, you know, you can find it online, whatever the case may be, whatever the case may be, you can find it online, you can find it online, find it online, find it online, you can find it online, you know. So you can't find it online, you know, you can find it online, you know? So you can find it online, you know, you can find it online. Oops. And you can just, I can of course listen to it, but the gossip, hearsay, she said, or that, we do not understand that, you know, from a neurotypical perspective. That's why ASPIEs, the majority of ASPIEs, and that's discussed by a lot of ASPIEs, we don't engage in that. We rather say, well, can you address it, or can you bring it, we can discuss it together, and how we can have action. And of course, it takes a level of authority, but we cannot base our authority just on strength and violence and force. If we base our authority just on strength and force and violence, then we don't have a civilization, right? So we have to base it a little bit on love, understanding, and also sometimes humor, comedy, you know. Like the other day, I don't mind people if they laugh at me by the clumsiness, you know, because I know I have weird social mannerisms. Social mannerisms, social mannerisms, social mannerisms, social mannerisms, you know. So having on that weird social mannerisms is something, of course, which I engage in, you know, which I engage in. But I allow people to, whatever the case may be, whatever the case may be, whatever the case may be, you know, to have those dia- to have those dynamics where I can also laugh at myself, where I can enjoy somebody else laughing, you know, somebody else laughing, while laughing me with my clumsiness, whatever the case may be, and laughing as healed to laugh at myself, you know. And it's been a hard road, you know. It's been for years that I've been told that I have Asperger's, high functioning autism, high functioning autism. And for years I didn't accept it until, well, yeah, you know, I have obsessive interest, I have a routine, I repeat things, I get too close to comfort, and when I discuss, we breach personal space. That's an ASPIE symptoms. Echolalia. Sometimes I repeat the exact sentence, phrase, or paragraph somebody utters out loud. So echolalia is a symptom of Asperger's, aka also known as high functioning autism. I've utilized both because arguing back and forth the terminology, what matters is the symptoms of neurodivergence, which I possess, and people would ASPIE's, aka high functioning autism, HFA, 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 the initial high functioning autism, you know. So it's something which, of course, some things that we got to be proposition about. And, you know, in the past 45 months, I've been working on my symptoms, and, you know, I don't live with no regrets, live for today, carpe diem. And I just saw somebody holding hands, hugging, and children laughing. So, hey, that makes my day. That makes my day, that makes my day. So that's all we gotta be doing on that, and I gotta be crossing the streets. Pedestrians, man. Anyways, man. So back to what I was saying, of course, that the symptoms of echolalia, of Asperger's, include echolalia. So echolalia is repeating outside, repeating outside, repeating outside, repeating outside, repeating outside. You know? Repeating out loud, in a loud voice, what somebody else utters word for word. So maybe that's why one of the symptoms, that's why, because I lost a lot of friends, and making only friends with benefits now, you know. Only friends with benefits now, only friends with benefits now. Only friends with benefits now, making only friends with benefits. Now only making friends with benefits, pledge your allegiance, legions, thou art legions. You know. Back to gossip is, of course, I have to repeat the fundamentals, the generalities, or to sum it up, the motive why Asperger's, Aspies like myself, we do not engage in gossip. So gossip for us is something we do understand from an Aspie perspective, but we don't understand it from a neurotypical perspective. You know, from sure there could be interior motives. You know, inside we have feelings of inferiority, whatever, myself included at some things. You know, I am mediocre, average is so. Now when it comes to geopolitics, that's my kingdom, my area, my domain. Now when it comes to dancing, dancing is my favorite sport, and Rainbow Dragon, aka Priestess, is that priestess double trouble androgynous who loves beautiful yellow flowers. Such a lovely lady lives there. She said hello, smiled, and we had a little conversation, and said love you back, and that's it. That's all rock and roll. My auntie, family here, great family of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, North America. You know, we made family. Let's get married, open marriage on the mountain, and we can get that defense, support the dream, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom. Just fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership across the collective North American civilizational complex across North America. So I gotta turn my head left and right here. Left and right. Gotta turn my head left and right before I cross the street in a manner which is conducive, of course, to my safety and somebody else's safety. Landscapers on the land, how's the work up in the land? With the shovels and the metal, gonna put it for the pedal. Those workers there in the landscaping just triggered in me rock and roll songs, and you know, rock and roll 24/7, fitness sports 24/7, and geopolitics 24/7. You know, So back to what I was saying, heading to my second home, the mountain. Before I switch to that French, and before I discuss the DRT, because it's super important, I discuss the debt refusion theory every time. I want to discuss, of course, again, I want to discuss gossip. Gossip. Gossip from a neurodivergent position, from an ASPIE position, from an Asperger's position. So basically, we do not fully understand it from a perspective, of course, of a neurotypical. So we might understand it from a perspective, from our perspective, which is that it's not conducive. To sum it up, we don't really see the point when we solve and we deal with matters more direct, more direct, you know, like we are strong in our obsessive interest. In certain things we lack. I am inferior myself, so average, so inferior. Here I got a white and a cross. I'm gonna cross the street safely. I waited until it nodded, and yeah, I'm gonna wait. Thank you. Make sure I get the priority. Makes a sign, you know, for the pedestrians, you know, to cross the street safely. You gotta turn your heads left or right. You never know. Brakes malfunction all the time. Not all the time, because it's not a constant, but it's a possibility. What about that solar flare? What about the pressing the accelerator instead of the brake? These are all within the realms of possibilities of which we must be aware of. We must be aware of. So, gotta get it on the go. Gotta get those yellow flowers. We always gotta get on that. Doing now. See, brick by bricks. We got bricks. Always admire the construction workers. Back to gossip. Finalizing the idea of gossip, the engaging in gossip. So we see it really, the way we see it, or understanding gossip and the motive. Well, we don't ASPIEs don't engage in the gossip, you know? Don't engage in the gossip. So we do not engage in gossip due to, of course, seeing it really as kind of pointless and not necessarily practical or valuable, or that can bring pleasure, that can bring solutions, that can solve certain issues which we might have of the philosophy or the work tasks of betterment, of improvement, you know? Improvement, you know, improvement. Improvement. So that's how we're gonna go do it, you know. Gotta work a little bit on the training, and we gotta get it on the go. And it makes me think because it said transport king, it said king movers. When I see king, K-I-N-G, I also say, of course, I say king, I see, of course, the sun, you know, the sun. That's my king. That's my king. Was king, is king, will be king. The sun, S-U-N, the sun. So it is king today. So that's what I thought. If I would have that van or moving company with the name King, you would have to have a sun on it. Sun, S-U-N. The queen's definitely the moon. Anyways, But yeah, okay. So we do not understand gossip from a neurotypical perspective. So that's why ASPIEs, generally, there might be ASPIEs at different levels. We don't engage in gossip. We don't understand. We don't understand. We don't see the point, really. But we might value people, commend people, right? So we can commend. We do commend, and so that's a good job, or you did that good job, and we can praise, we can value, we can discuss individuals, but not to put down from a more negative perspective, from a more negative perspective, from a more negative perspective, you know, stuff like that, like slander, gossip, and rather just don't more address it face to face, you know. We can be pretty honest, you know. Makes me think of a few years ago, about 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago, I think during COVID, and I had a chat with somebody, and it was a woman, and whatever we talked, and I said, yeah, I'm bisexual, pansexual, part of the LGBTQ community, and gonna wait. Now I can cross. And I said, yeah, you know, yeah, sure. And it was very direct, you know. He said, so, she said, like, so what? Do you like to, you know, suck? Yeah. I said, yeah. So, well, very. Could also be very direct. Whatever. It's just ask policy. Just ask. You know, just ask policy. Whatever the case may be, but that was kind of funny. I remember that, and that's basically the motive why ASPIEs don't really engage in gossip. You know, gossip. So gossiping in the more negative, like let's say in a workplace scenario, somebody would come and I would say, you know, I did this, and somebody says who's whatever hierarchy authority say, don't do that, don't do that. It's not good, it's not good, it's not good. You know, it's not good, it's not good, it's not good. So we say it's not good, it's not good, or shouldn't have done that. Who said that? Who said this? We'd rather just come together and say, hey, this is your information, and revise the information, and let's do better together, or from the individual, because it takes the individuals. And ASPIEs, we have a very, I guess, strong individual sense, but myself and other ASPIEs, we also have a very strong sense of justice in many ways, and for the collective, justice. But you know, gossip is one of those things which, if you have an ASPIE in the workplace, maybe that's why I got laid off, you know, so many times, you know. But it's not, we don't understand it from a neurotypical perspective, because we don't see the point in it, like the, you know, oh, she said that, and did you see it? Speaking negative about a person, making a message negative about a person. And I have negativity in me, I have darkness, you know, the shadow self and all that. Spiritually, I'm a mystic, but I always try to manage the lower self with the higher self. And, you know, I still get upset, moody. I was depressed, suicidal, and a lot of ASPIEs go through that because of the suffering. And you know, I got retrograde amnesia. There's like blackouts of memory. You know? Look at that beautiful red. Beautiful red, beautiful red, beautiful red, beautiful red. I don't know, my memory just kind of blacks out. It's a blackout, you know, like that hardball ball. And I remember moving. And, you know, I'm just grateful for today, you know. Survived COVID as well, I remember that. And I remember moving from a moldy place, and I remember, of course, just moving and being crossing Canada coast to coast in 2017. Cross Canada coast to coast. Cross Canada coast to coast. Cross Canada coast to coast. When I crossed Canada coast to coast, that event made me come out of depression, being depressed and suicidal, you know? being depressed and suicidal. So I'd rather just give pleasure, and that's ASPIE, you know. ASPIE is where just ask if we can do something for you, whatever it is, you know. If it's adult stuff, it's consent and hygiene, you know. If it's more of a rainbow type of things, now I gotta stop discussing that because I'm approaching youth. So I gotta be careful what I say, considerations, and you know, gotta get it on that, man. Anyways, gonna wait here. Gonna wait here. Gonna wait here. Gonna wait here. Anyways, so we gotta go on the sun, take a little bit of that sunlight, and always grateful, thankful, right? Rent paid, electricity bills paid. And last day of September, I gotta go out. Gotta go on the upside to here, and we gotta go on the go, and gotta go by the side, man. She made me a little face. It was but out of love. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't malintention. Just innocent, you know. So here we go to the mountain. We are on the road. And we go up. Second home. Butchers saluting the public workers. Public workers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, and here we go by the stairs, and we're gonna take a. We're gonna put our backpack. We're gonna take off some clothes here, some clothing, and we're gonna rock and roll, drill it, and switch to that French. Discuss the DRT for the creation of the unit. Let's see what time is it. We came on early, and now we can let the main out. 'So you kind of saw it took me about 80 minutes. 80 minutes. 80 minutes. Who want to finance? I go up and down these stairs 300 times. Would rock and roll for the butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors for a cause of your choosing. And that is a beautiful building. Let's get those for the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom. And gonna salute my king. What time it is? 8:22 in the morning. Somebody waking up on the early. For the butchers, for the bakers, for the nurses, for the doctors, for the grocery store clerks. On the go and on the go, on the go and on the now, on the go and on the go, on the go and on the now, on the mountain, that's we see what's some. That's we see for the butchers, for the bakers, for the nurses, for that NATO, for that troops up in regardless, for that truth up in above it, for that truth up in the said. For the left and right and bled it, for the left and right and said it, for the butchers and the bakers and the nurses and the doctors and the sun shining. I'd get it for the butchers, I'd get it for the nurses, I'd get it for the rock and roll. For the sun up and let's go. To my brothers and sisters in the USA of old. Yeah, I got that rock and roll. I love rock and roll, and that's one of my main obsessive interests. Geopolitics 24/7 to study the analysis. Of course, dancing, fitness, and rock and roll. Rainbow Dragon, Rainbow Dragon, Rainbow Dragon. Nobody's born a dragon. We're gonna go rock and roll. Support in any way, shape, capacity you might see fit. And you know, again, ASPIE's gossip. We really don't see the point. I mean, we might discuss people's ideas, theories, and doings, but nothing like the personal gossip, you know. We rather discuss actions to do from a more to do to better. We might discuss, of course, the ideas for the betterment, for the betterment, for the betterment. We might discuss, of course, ideas, of course, to get it, and ideas to get it on the go, and the actions and the ideas and the work, and sure we can address it in different manners. So we have that's it for that. The DRT now. DRT. My second home. It's 8:24 a.m. 8:24 a.m. 8:24 a.m. 8:24. 8:24 a.m. 8:24 a.m. So, being that it's 8:24 a.m., of course, 8:24. 8:25 now. Please, if you come here, do not pollute. Recycle, pick up after yourself. Don't leave trash. Don't leave garbage. Don't leave trash. Don't leave garbage. Don't leave trash. Don't leave garbage. Don't leave trash. Don't leave garbage, which can be here, you know. Can be here. Can be left here. And salut, bon matin. Une étude des arbres? Vous faites une étude des arbres? Ok, c'est ça, je pensais, vous faisiez une étude d'arbres. Oh, that's nice. I know a little bit of math. That's nice.
Right, yeah. Has nothing to do with trees at the moment. But,
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's why I got out of the way, because I thought you were jogging and you were looking at the trees at the paper. You know they tend to fall, eh?
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful. If you go in the forest, I always let people know for your security and prudence. Be careful. If you hear cracks, be ready to run. That's why I thought maybe you were running,
No.
because I've experienced it.
Oh, really? Okay.
But they didn't fall on me, but they fell at a certain distance. So I was filming, and I went in the forest, and then I looked, and it was a big branch. It just fell like about 44 yards.
Enjoy your run.
Sorry, I didn't want to disturb you, but love you later. There you go. That was a lot. Somebody there to getting on the run, and he was showing me some graphs, some maths, and see, I tell him, because see that branch here? Look at that branch. This one fell. See? That's a branch. That's why, people, when you come here, I let people know. Do not pollute. Do not leave trash here. Do not pollute. Do not leave trash. Super important. Super important, you know. I got the hand dirty, but gotta get dirty to get back clean. And my fellow citizens, I saw him running. I said, "Ooh, he's the branches." And see a lot of these branches here. That one. So I have it online. I have proof. It was there online, you know. So I got it, and that's what it is with that, and that's what it is for the ghost. So it's XYZ, 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 XYZ. So that's how we gotta get doing with that. So that's how we gotta get doing with the branches. See, it fell here and it fell there, and that's how we gotta get on that falling down, you know. So we gotta beware, be prudent. But here, you can inhale, exhale, and You got to get that inhalation here, and here with nature, a little bit of from civilization I come, and it got to be that balance together, you know. But here in nature, just get a sense, you know, coming here for more than 7 years, getting flashes of reincarnations and being a mystic. You know, look at that branch. That's a big one who fell, eh? That one fell. Some of these were cut, but most of these here, they fell from the storms, from the trees not being so healthy, and from the trees not being so healthy. So that's all we're gonna get doing on that. That's all we're gonna get doing on that below. So here we are on that rock and roll, and we gotta get it on the sunlight, and super important, you know, to LOV, and we gotta get that love. And you know, my fellow citizen there, I got your back coast to coast, but only defense. We're gonna play D, like that hardball ball, coast to coast. Dragon Army, we're gonna play that defense, and we're gonna get it on that rock and roll, and see, we gotta get it on the go, and we gotta get it on the now, and super important to exercise, and gotta say my gratitude here on the mountain as I gaze upon the city. Beautiful, big, saluting the construction workers, firefighters, love you firefighters, construction workers on the cranes, get back home safe, make me dragging some rainbow, dragging some good loving, make rainbow dragging some good loving, make rainbow dragging some good loving, and 49ers, good game, give some charity today, take a few of those millions you got, and go around San Francisco, where I lived, roamed in a past life. I roamed 5 years, I lived in San Francisco, after I served in the war, and in both lifetimes, and even as a woman 3 times, twice as a man, when 3 times I was born in the USA, and I lived 3 times in San Francisco, different eras, long apart, but once as a woman. Nonetheless, please, 49ers, Niners, give a little bit of that charity, you know, give a little bit of that go today, Monday after the game. Yesterday you won, today, okay, rest today and go tomorrow, whatever. Get some cash, go just hand it over to some random, give them a second chance. They give them, they have 50,000, you can start over, pay rent for a year, and get clean, get off the whatever, dope, booze, dope, booze, whatever the case may be. Dope and booze, whatever. So that's why we gotta go drill it with that, and that's how we go drilling on that side, and that's how we go drilling on the go. So that's how we're gonna go drill it now. So grateful, thankful, rent paid, electricity bill paid, and we gotta get it on the go now, and we gotta take a look at those rocks. You can work out with those rocks, and see, those are branches, a lot of them fell. So here in the forest, on the mountain, gonna go up, ascend. Grateful, thankful, rent paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee. Rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee. Rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee. Rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, you know. Rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food, coffee, and got some sweets. So gotta get down that present, and gotta be grateful with it, and beware of those branches, you know. There's some things which is a must, and here we gotta get on those drills, and inhale the fresh air here. Cleans the lungs when you come here. Inhalation, expiration, cleanse those lungs. And if I'm to be able to clean myself, and I gotta be able to clean somebody else, well, I gotta cleanse myself first, you know. So being Monday today, 8:32 a.m. We came early, and gonna head back, do laundry, some work for employment, you know, and I'm open for business 24/7, and here we are on the mountain, and gonna discuss my DRT after we go by the city, and after my DRT, of course, we're gonna get to that French, because we're here in La Belle Province, so here in La Belle Province, we gotta get it on that French, because it's the great linguistic compromise which we made long ago to have the maintenance of peace, harmony, and equilibrium throughout the North American Civilizational Collective, throughout North America, the great North American Civilizational Complex, the great complex of North American civilization, the North American Civilizational Complex. To have it, of course, to have it on the complex, and to be aware, to be aware of that, and to be aware of the things which are, of course, to be, and to be aware of that the things which need to be done now, and for myself included, for all those butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks on the road now. Those gonna change some diapers today in the daycares, get that Canadian Armed Forces Protocol, Bill Blair, with LOV. Say it to my brother Bill Blair, citizen, brother citizen, Minister of National Defense. Please, please, please put on a new protocol, and that extends to the Austin Secretary General, the Secretary of Defense, United States. This Quebecer Canadian who was born in the USA 3 times, served 2 times in different wars in the same US of A Army. You see a new protocol, you're gonna put on the uniform. First and foremost, it's not gonna be because of the money. Yeah, our defense forces, armed force soldiers gotta be well equipped, well paid, and gotta get a good salary, but it's not first and foremost for the money. Gotta got some esprit de corps. Some esprit de corps, some esprit de corps. Esprit de corps, some esprit de corps. Esprit de corps, you know. You gotta get some esprit de corps. And you gotta reconcile, and you gotta get that money, and then you gotta put some love, you know. Gotta go change some diapers. I always say we gotta go change some diapers in the daycares, you know. Before you put on a uniform, that should be extended to be a new protocol, and only be putting the uniform after one has changed the diapers in the daycares. That'll be a new military defense protocol which I would implement, you know, part of the ongoing philosophies of the Dragon Army, which is fundamentally an initiative and a call to and for a public-private partnership, and truckers, butchers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, you get it on the go. And here you gotta watch it because it's steep, and we got civilization and nature. We got sometimes the cars go on that main road. See the car there, but you know, I envision a little bit of trucks and passing sometimes public workers, and now I'm going up on the go, so we gotta get it on the XYZ, and we gotta go on the ascension up. So I'm curious what time will I be getting there by 9, depending which route I take. You know, you can circumvent and cross in many ways. Cross like this, or here sees the main road. See? Cross here. People are there on the main road, and we go up like that. See? So we're gonna cross here, and here's the main road. See, the majority of people stay on here, and this kind of goes like in a circle. But not a lot of people venture in the forest here as I go up. And if I go up here on the main, and you've got to go up on the road, gotta be careful because the forest can get that treacherous, and of course the branches might fall. So you get those falling branches, you know. So those are the falling other branches, and gotta get those falling branches for that LOV, and we gotta get it on that towards the north. Now we go the north. So always we gotta go drilling, and I just gotta say I love. We gotta go on LOV, and we gotta look at this. Look at that. That is really beautiful. The rocks. It's just, I don't know, there's something artistic about it. Like how they are. 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 You know? How they are. How they are, man. How they are. How they are. See? How they are. Like that. You know? So they're there, and they have a certain unique characteristic. Featurings of the rocks. The rocks. That's why the majestic. That's why the majestic. You know. So that's why it's the majestics. You know. Majesty of the rocks is really what I'm trying to say. There's a rugged majesty to them. And now for the DRT. What is DRT? The DRT, that refusion theory. The DRT, my brothers and sisters, I'm proud to put this on the table. The paradox, due to having been and being an ASPIE, having Asperger's makes me predisposed as ASPIEs we are to obsessive interests. One of my trinity of obsessive interests is geopolitics and sports and fitness, dancing being my favorite sport, and of course rock and roll. My holy trinity of obsessive ASPIE interest, and geopolitics, the study, the analysis of geopolitical studies. Geopolitics. That is what it is, and of course I present on the table the DRT, the DRT debt refusion theory. D for debt, R for refusion, and T for theory, debt refusion theory. That is what it is, the debt refusion theory, of course, for the creation of the UE. So now I'm going to try to explain as best as I can, and got to keep in mind that the DRT, the debt refusion theory, is the only solution. The only solution where we are now. What is the motive that I say, of course, that it is the only solution? Is through the fact, of course, the fact being that, of course, now we pay 46.5 billion in interest, 46.5 billion in interest, 46.5 billion in interest, 46.5 billion in interest. That's the amount of interest on the public debt. I'm going to repeat, these are public numbers. You can check the information for yourself. So my brothers and sisters, there's no way that there's another solution but the DRT. Stands for D for debt, R refusion, T for theory. Debt refusion theory, the D, the R, the T. D for debt, R refusion, T for theory. So the DRT is the only solution. Now where we are now, today, in September, last day of September. So it's a fact that today we pay 46.5 billion. So 1 billion has 1,000 million. It has so many zeros. It has 9 zeros. That's how much it has. Billions, right? In billions. So that is the amount of billions which it has, of course. So the amount of debt is 46.5 billion. That is the amount of debt which we have. That is the amount of debt which we have. The debt, not the debt itself, but the public debt, the public debt which we have. The DRT debt refusion theory. D is the only solution due to the fact that we pay in interest only. So this is not the debt, the number that I've given. That's the interest we pay on the debt, also known as debt servicing. The debt servicing is paying the interest. It's 46.5 billion. That's 46,000 million. 46,000 million. 46,000 million. 46,000. A billion has a billion is 1,000 million, brothers and sisters. It's got 9 zeros. There's no way out of this but my DRT theory. You can argue left, right, and center all you want, but there's no way that there's another solution where we are now at this point in time. There's really no solution but the DRT, the debt refusion theory, which includes, my theory also includes monetary integration theory. So monetary integration theory is exactly what was done in the European Union. Is exactly what was done in the European Union. Is exactly what was done in the European Union. In the European Union. So the DRT includes monetary integration theory, 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 monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is the financial theory which was done in the European Union, in the European Union. So the Europeans, the Germans got rid of their central bank. They created a common bank with the other European nations. So the Germany got rid, kind of destroyed their central bank. They also got rid of their currency. Italy also got rid of their currency. Also got rid of their bank. France, also many countries in Europe. So my DRT, which stands for D debt, R refusion, T for theory, includes monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is exactly what was done in the European Union. Monetary integration theory is exactly what was done in the European Union. Here a branch. Also, I gotta be careful for branches, eh? So my theory includes monetary integration theory, monetary integration theory, monetary integration theory. That's what it is. So it includes that. So I'm going to explain it as simple as I can, because another factors, and of course of Asperger's, ASPIEs, we tend to be overly verbose. The language, the linguistics can be overly philosophical, too much verbosities, too much complex, intellectual, academic, sophisticated language and terminology, which really is not really conducive or really helpful or really necessary. That's ASPIE symptoms. But that's exactly, it's not necessary, just like how we feel, how we understand gossip. Most gossip anyways, not the one that discusses like ideas. We're more discussing ideas or course of action or activities or ideas or whatever the case may be, whatever. We're more than gossip, we rather discuss the actions and the ideas, and in my case sing some rock and roll, because that's my obsessive interest, rock and roll. So you know, that's what it is, and that's how we're going on with that, and that's how we trail it on. So let's go on the mountain, we go, and we gotta get it for the XYZ, we gotta get it for the love, and we gotta get it for the rock and roll, and it's something which we gotta get it on the know, man. So here we go. DRT, debt refusion theory, my brothers and sisters, the only solution. There's no other solution. As much as you want to argue, and you can argue being on the left, on the right, in the center, liberal, whatever. I'm a pro-labor and love universal revolutionary centrist. I'm a pro-labor and love universal revolutionary centrist. I'm a pro-labor and love universal revolutionary centrist, you know. I'm a pro-labor and love universal revolutionary centrist. And my DRT theory is the only solution. My DRT theory is the only solution. My DRT theory is the only solution, you know. So I'm going to explain it. The DRT, debt refusion theory. So of course, the debt refusion theory stands for the debt our refusion theory, and it includes monetary integration theory, which is the financial theory which they established in Europe, and which was of course the creation of a central bank. Good morning. Be careful, sometimes the branches fall, eh?
Yes, and no, those layer nuts.
Vous savez?
Oui.
OK.
Ils m'ont déjà tombé 3 ou 4 sur
OK,
la tête.
OK, parfait. C'est pour ça que je dis aux gens, parce que je ramasse des fois les branches, là,
Oui.
puis je les tasse, puis je l'ai vécu moi-même. C'est tombé d'en haut, comme celle-là, vous voyez là-bas, là? Tout ça, là. Ça, c'est toutes des branches qui sont tombées. Vous voyez celle-là?
Oui, oui, hein.
Ça tombe. C'est pour ça qu'il faut j'avertis les gens, puis il faut être prudent quand ils passent, parce que c'est une question de sécurité. Là, puis...
Oui. Parce qu'ils ne peuvent pas s'occuper de tout.
Non, non, puis ça vient d'en haut, hein?
Oui, puis nous, on veut en profiter.
Oui.
Bonne journée.
Ben, bonne journée, ma chère, madame. Bye bye. Anyway, so I gotta let people know about the branches which fall, and because see, like this one, you don't want that falling on you. You don't want to get that falling on you. You don't want to get that falling, and you know, sometimes I don't know if they know the mountain that well, and this is my second home. I've been coming here in many lifetimes, and this lifetime here, 2024 September, and I get flashes of reincarnations for the past 7 years, and I know the mountain, and I've lived. I got proof. It's somewhere on my videos. You know, you hear and you see, maybe even on the camera, because I turn it and you see the like it just goes down, boom, 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 boom. See, like those branches. So they're not that. Some of the trees are not that healthy, and now we got more and more storms, and they put a lot of pressure and after rain. So I always advise people to be prudent and careful with that. To be prudent and careful with that. To be prudent and careful with that. So, anyways. DRT, debt refusion theory, for the creation of the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit, the Universal Exchange. So now the only solution is the DRT, due to the fact that we pay so much in interest. So that's the amount of interest we pay, 46.5 billion. Just the debt service, the public debt, the public debt, the public debt. So the DRT now explains. So we're gonna take all the debt, public and private debt. My debt as a private citizen is $10,000. So we're gonna take my debt, $10,000, my debt, your debt, our debt, all the public and the private 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 debt, including my 10,500. My 10,500, my 10,500. So my debt, your debt, our debt, including my 10,500. So all the debt, public and the private. My 10,500, yours, coast to coast, coast to coast, coast to coast. All that money, all the public private debt, due to the fact that the United States dollar still is the currency of choice for world trade, international business, global affairs, import, export, and tourism. We're going to convert all the public-private debt, which is in Canadian dollars, to United States dollars. And my DRT theory called for the implementation ASAP, across Canada, coast to coast first, 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 across Canada, right? Cross Canada, coast to coast. Cross Canada, coast to coast, cross Canada, coast to coast, cross Canada, coast to coast, cross Canada. So that's what it is with that. That's what it is with that. So cross Canada, coast to coast, and that's what it is for the XYZ, 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 and we implement it to cross Canada, coast to coast, and ocean to ocean, ocean to ocean, and coast to coast, coast to coast. Cross it on the XYZ, and I hope he's gonna come. Gonna go so hydrate over there, and that's how we're gonna go do it on the XYZ and XYZ over there. We're gonna, oh my gosh, what is that? I tend to stare at objects and people, and I always love it when they get on that bike. We gotta get on the bikes, man. I gotta go get that hydration somewhere. I'm gonna get that DRT here, man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted. Woo. I gotta get it on the drill, man. Get it on the drill now. Oh yeah. Woo. Anyways, we're gonna keep on going up, and they're gonna get a little bit of public works here, man. Public workers. Gotta get on those public workers. Salute. They're gonna do a lot of construction here. And they're gonna do a lot of bricks. Bricks like the reminds me of a past life when I was bricklaying in the ancient Rome, man. Ancient Rome. So as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go towards the sun by that way. We're gonna go in and circumvent and go in as we go by this side. So gonna continue discussing the DRT, and we're gonna go to the top, to the top, to the top. So the DRT explained debt refusion theory again. We're gonna take all the debt, but keep in mind my DRT theory, I call for its implementation across what I call the North American Civilizational Collective, across 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 the North American Civilizational Collective. So we're gonna take all the public-private debt, all the public-private debt, including my debt, my 10,500, my 10,000, yours, and all the debt, all the public and the private debt, so all the private and the public debt, all the public and the private debt, all the private and the public debt, all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private, all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt. We're gonna convert it, all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt. We're gonna convert it to US dollars. So that is what it is. And here is so good. So all the debt. We're gonna switch a bit. See, different trails now, different trails. So many ways to go to the top. So all the debt, public and private debt, converted to US dollars. Canada coast to coast, all the debt. That money we're gonna add it with the US. All the public private debt of the US. Mexico, if they will, Haiti, Dominican Republic, all the North America first. You can also expand transatlantic with our NATO, North Atlantic Organization member states. But first and foremost, For Canada first, then United States, then North America, then North America, then North America, then North America. You know, so that's what we're gonna do. Take all the public and the private debt. Of course, all that debt, we're gonna convert it to US dollars. We're gonna add it, make an addition, add it all together, add it all together, add it all together. So we're gonna add all that debt. That debt is gonna be the initial money supply for the creation of a new bank. For the creation of a new bank, the North American Central Bank. North American Central Integrated Bank, the North American Central Integrated Bank, whatever we call it. In Europe, they called it in the 90s when they created the ECB, European Central Bank, the European Central Bank, the European Central Bank, the European Central Bank, the ECB, the ECB, the ECB, the European Central Bank. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take it on that NATO and NORAD Canada first, all that debt, public and private debt, that's what we're going to be able to do. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take it all, we're going to create it all, and that's what we're going to be able to do. And here we can go by the side here on the north, on the north, on the north, and that's what we're going to be doing with that, and that's what we're going to be able to do it with that, and that's what we're going to be able to do it on the go. So that's what we're going to be able to get out of the current financial situation, which is a point to be a catastrophe as I go on this trail. It's a shorter trail. It's got to be careful because you got to, but it's a smaller trails. There's different size trails, and it's a trail on the forest, in the forest. So all the debt, public and private, we're going to convert it to US dollars, add it all up with the US public-private debt. All that money is going to be the initial money supply. The initial money supply for a new central bank. Whatever we give it a name, doesn't really matter, but this is where the monetary integration theory comes in, which is the financial theory which they implemented in the European Union. In the European Union. In the European Union. In the European Union. So all that money is gonna be, of course, created from this debt. The initial money supply, the initial money supply, the money supply. All the money supply is gonna be all the debt, all the public and the private debt. So that's what it's gonna be. All the public and the private debt. All the public and the private debt. All that money is gonna be the initial money supply. All the debt, public-private debt, right? Yeah, including my 10,000 as an individual citizen. So all the debt converted to US dollars, all that money is gonna be the bank, the money supply, the money supply, the money supply, the money supply, the money supply. The money supply for this new bank. We're gonna create a new currency called the UE, based on the value of the US dollar, because that's what we're converting all the public and private Canadian dollar debt into US dollar. And this new currency we're going to call the UE. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot universal, E dot exchange unit. UE, U dot universal, E dot exchange unit. The UE, U dot universal, E dot exchange unit, UE. The universal exchange unit, the universal exchange unit, the universal exchange unit, the universal exchange unit. The UE, the universal exchange unit, 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 the UE, universal exchange unit. The universal exchange unit, the universal exchange unit, the UE, the universal exchange unit. So that's what we're going to be able to do. Create a new currency. We're going to set up the interest rate level of 10%. 10%. It could be lower. It could be 4.18, 7.18, 9.3, 3.33, 1.56. Below 10, below 10, below 10%. Below 10%, below 10%. Below 10%. Below 10%. Below 10%. Could be less, not more, not more, not more, not more. Less than 10% it can be, but not more than 10%. So that's going to be the new principle, the new principle, the new principle. That's going to be the new principle, the new principle, the new principle of debt. Creation of the UE. That's why I'm calling on my astrological brother Scorpio Bill Gates, Scorpio of BlackRock, Blackstone is Blackstone and BlackRock are different. Larry Fink is another Scorpio CEO of BlackRock, and another Scorpio is Joe Biden. It could be Sagittarius, and Leos and Pisces and all whatever the case may be, and the Pisces, the Leos, whatever the case may be, and whatever the case may be with the Lions and the Pisces, all the astrological signs, all the astrological signs, all the astrological signs, all the astrological signs combined together. So that's what we're gonna be able to do. Create the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit, the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit, the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit. So that's what we're going to be able to do, and that's why we're going to do and establish, create the new central bank, and that's what we're going to be able to do with that. That's what we're going to be able to do with that, and that's what we're going to be able to do on that drill. So that's what we're going to be able to do it on the drill, and that's what we're going to be able to do it on the now and on the go, and that's what we're going to be able to do it on the show for the love and for the butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors. This is the only solution. Debt refusion theory. We're going to take all the debt, public and private debt. So we're going to create whatever this new currency, which is going to be value of the US dollar. We're going to set an interest rate level of 10%, 10%. By principle is going to be no less. It could be less, 3.33, 1.56, 6.1, 9.3, 7 point whatever, and that's what it is for that XYZ, and that's how we're going to be able to do it with that, and do it on the go, and do it on the now. So that's what we're going to be able to do. The UE, Universal Exchange, the Universal Exchange, the Universal Exchange Unit. The UE, U dot, Universal, E dot, Exchange Unit. The UE, the new currency. It takes a public-private partnership. That's why I called some names out, because it needs to be a public-private partnership to create the UE and to implement my DRT. That has to be understood. There has to be a public and a private partnership in this regard right here, which is, of course, the creation of the new currency, which we're going to call the UE. The UE. U dot, Universal, E dot, Exchange Unit. Value of the US dollar. We're going to freeze the prices of bacon, cheese, bread, butter, milk, whatever the case may be. We're going to freeze the prices. And of course, we're going to freeze the prices, set an interest rate level of 10%. Freeze the prices. The prices we're going to freeze the prices. With that money, we're going to be able to do a lot of great things for the North American Civilisation Collective, rebuild the infrastructure of North America, aqueducts, sewers, aqueducts, finance citizens to work out, train, exercise, because it is my medicine and therapy of choice, finance, tourism, and wellness, which is one of my documents which I've written over the past years. Of course, the documentation for the general wellness of the North American citizen population's tourism initiative. It has a fancy title, but nonetheless, it's to finance via public-private partnership citizens to work out, train, exercise, and to tourism. We're going to be able, of course, to build more hydroelectric dams here in Quebec that do not pollute. We're going to be able to finance the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, the Dragon Army, North American Citizen Integrated Security and Service Force, complementary to the DGA Dancing Goddess Army, complementary to the DGA Dancing Goddess Army, complementary to the DGA, the Dancing Goddess Army, Opa, the DGA, trip but not fall. Curse me, curse you sevenfold. I don't turn the other cheek, may I be avenged that sevenfold. I don't turn the other cheek, may I be avenged that sevenfold. I don't turn the other cheek, but I turn the tenfold, elevenfold. Better make loving and reconcile. But so we're gonna be able to do a lot of good. Goodness. I have darkness in me, but I have the lower self. I love sweets and cheese and milk, and I love. I really love. I cannot twerk myself, but I enjoy people who twerk. I enjoy dancing as a sport, but I really love twerking. I find it so beautiful, and I really love that. So now you know none of my secrets. Don't need to send spies on me. Secret Services, police of China. Secret Services, police of Russia. Stasi are gone, or whatever. Secret police of other states, and Stasis were East Germany, or Mossad, whatever. And I play a rainbow. I'm a centrist. I'm a pro-labor revolutionary centrist. My centrism is tied hand in hand with my trinity of theories and philosophies. So that has to be understood fully. Well, I love coming here in nature. Reminds me here usually when I reach that place there, here, roundabout, I get flashes for the past more than 7 years, flashes of reincarnations. And I was born Quebecois. I was born here in past lives as a Quebecois, as a Quebecer. I served in the RCMP before it was called the RCMP. At the beginning, it wasn't RCMP, but it was another one. And I served 45 months, or 5 years, 5 years about in the Montreal police. I met Louisine, and once I was a woman born in Quebec who I took care of the coureur de bois. Speaking of, we're gonna reach that place, and then we're gonna switch to that French because we are in La Belle Province. So I gotta do the compromise, linguistic compromise, and I'm a Quebecer, Canadian, North American, born many past lives right here. North Americans unite, and let's establish the DRT, create the UE, and rebuild the infrastructure and play that defense. Implement, of course, the North American scorpion, the only species of scorpio that comes to Canada is called the Northern Scorpio. That is one of my initiatives and protocol called Operation Northern Scorpio. Operation Northern Scorpio. Operation Northern Scorpio. Operation Northern Scorpio. So Operation Northern Scorpio, which is going to begin before the month is going to start in October. So the 1st of October, I'm going to commence tomorrow with drills probably, and if not, it's gonna be in Operation Northern Scorpio. Is just one of my initiatives parallel with the North American Hawk Sky Net defense, and of course to defend on the ground a general total mobile defense stratagems which I've comprised and written over the past 7 years as a geopolitical analyst and theorist, because military affairs and military is part of the ongoing dynamics of which yours truly has and which yours truly is getting on the go. So it is what it is here on the mountain, and we got a little bit of XYZ, and we got a little bit of loving, and here we got a little bit of that loving for the go and loving for the now, and super important to get on the go and get it on the now, and super important here. Please support the DRT, the Dream Dancing Goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, which is fundamentally my dream for the North American Democratic Republic, the collective North American civilization of complex and public-private partnership. And here, with your help, support, build the Forgotten Goddess Temple, 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 with trillions of kisses, trillions of kisses, trillions of kisses. Credit trillions of kisses for the building here of the Forgotten Goddess Temple, to have activities such as tarot reading, dream interpretations, tarot readings, dream interpretation, tarot readings, astrology, full moon events, half moon events. Credit trillions of kisses, because every time I come to the mountain, every day I get another trillion of kisses credited from the Forgotten Goddess, so I got trillions of kisses. So support, build the Forgotten Goddess Temple here for such activities in a circle. Lots of green, lots of rainbow, and of course the Forgotten Goddess Temple, the Forgotten Goddess Temple, with the House of the Dragon, with the House of the Dragon, with the House of the Dragon, with the House of the Dragon here. The pyramid, of course here. Of course, scarlet, red, crimson, the pyramid, House of the Dragon, of course, to get it on the House of the Dragon, to get it on the go here. And of course, to get that activities and pyramid, a new pyramid here, the House of the Dragon with 5 rooms. I need a simple, austere, severe sleeping quarters, bathroom with a bath tub, a kitchen, a workout training room, and an entertainment room, to watch my dancing, my football, my hockey, my sports. And here we go on the mountain. We're going to switch to La Belle Province now, because we in French. Ready, rock and roll. LOV to the firefighters, LOV to the butchers, LOV to the bakers, LOV to the nurses. Help, support, build the 3rd Rainbow People's Palace. I want to build 3 right here. Forgotten Goddess Temple, House of the Dragon, and the Rainbow People's Palace. And I credit trillions of kisses with that. And that's what we got to go doing with that. So that's why we gotta go live it on the XYZ, and that's why we gotta go live it with that, and that's why we gotta go on the drills, and that's why we gotta go for the go, and for the now, and for the go, and for the now. So that's why we are here on the XYZ, and we gotta get up in that LOV, And we gotta get up in that LOV for you to see. Third building, Forgotten Goddess Temple, House of the Dragon. And we gotta get on that House of the Dragon, and we gotta get it on the drill now, and we gotta get it on the frills now, and we gotta get it for the LOV. In the sun. Bienvenue, on est sur la montagne. Déjà ici avec votre aide. On va construire. Des bisous, des câlins, puis des chatouilleurs. Gratitude demain. J'ai déjà sur la montagne, je suis parti de bonne heure. Fait que il est 9h07. Merci les camionneurs de fermer les bouchées, mais avec votre aide ici, avec ces roches-là, vous pouvez faire l'entraînement physique. Il y a un gymnase que vous pouvez bâtir, construire ici. Puis bien sûr, la temple de la déesse oubliée avec la pyramide. Et la pyramide. Bonjour. Faites attention. Parlez-vous français? Do you speak English?
Yeah.
So be careful if you venture out in the forest. Sometimes there's falling branches.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes I have to pick them up myself. Last week I picked up. So just for your security,
Thank you.
if you hear something up,
Yeah.
be careful and just be aware that you're gonna have to move.
If they are not that big, it's okay. If they are like big ones, could be. Thank you.
Just be careful. Bye bye. You're welcome. C'est ça, je l'avertis parce que, tu sais, il y a les branches comme ça qui sont, des fois, je les enlève moi-même. Fait que il y a une question de sécurité, comme ces branches-là, là, que je viens d'en dire en anglais, ça vient de ici, tu vois ça? Ça craque, là, c'est la preuve. C'est pour ça que j'avertis les gens, là. Vous voyez toutes ces branches-là, comme ça, là, ça craque, ça pète, puis quand ils rentrent dans la forêt, ben, je les avertis qu'ils soient prudents, parce que je la connais, la forêt ici. C'est pas juste chez nous, c'est ma forêt sur la montagne, le Mont-Royal, mais il faut mettre des signes, il faudrait mettre des signes à l'entrée quand ils s'aventurent. Si des fois ils attendent, qu'ils attendent que ça tombe sur eux autres, c'est possible. Hein? Il y a une possibilité. Fait que, ici, avec votre aide, de bâtir la pyramide, le temple, la maison du dragon est rouge écarlate avec 3 chambres, puis avec bien sûr, avec le temple de la déesse, le temple de la déesse oubliée. Le temple de la déesse à 7 étages, avec des bisous, des milliards, parce qu'à chaque fois que je viens ici, la déesse du ciel bleu, regardez des fois en haut du ciel bleu, le soleil, le papa qui danse, le rock'n'roll, votre dragon ASPIE. Bien sûr, le 3e bâtiment que je veux construire là, palais du peuple arc-en-ciel, mais ici, le temple de la déesse, puis à chaque fois que je viens sur la montagne, j'ai des milliards d'additionnels, plus de bisous, des câlins, bisous rock'n'roll, puis avec vous, s'il vous plaît, faites attention quand vous venez sur la montagne, puis aidez à construire juste là, la maison du dragon en rouge écarlate pyramide. Puis on est sur la montagne, puis j'adore venir ici, ma 2e maison, mais j'aime pas voir des choses qui sont laissées, genre, ici. Et faites attention, ne pas laisser les choses, des vidanges, des choses comme ça. Amenez-les chez vous, amenez-les dans la poubelle, mettez-les dans la poubelle, dans le recyclage, parce que on essaie de faire la préservation ici. On essaie de préserver la nature, puis on essaie de faire une préservation de la nature ici. Fait que c'est super important de faire attention puis de ne pas polluer parce qu'on a des lapins, des chèvres. On n'a pas de chevreuil, on n'a pas de chèvres, là, mais il y a des lapins, il y a des écureuils, puis il y a des marmottes, puis on a bien de la flore pour ça. Vous voyez une clôture ici, on essaie de préserver la nature, puis il y a des gens qui viennent, des fois je ramasse, ça fait des années que je ramasse dans la forêt, puis on essaie de préserver. C'est au milieu de la métropole de Montréal, là. Tu sais, vous voyez ça, c'est une zone de plantation, fait que il faut faire attention, puis il faut qu'on fasse notre part, hein? Notre part en tant qu'individu. Puis je veux discuter aujourd'hui, c'est dédié aux ASPIE. Je veux vraiment me concentrer sur l'Asperger's, parce que c'est une condition que je vis avec, puis ça fait comme 45 mois que j'ai accepté, parce que ça fait plus que 7 ans là, qu'on me le dit, mais tu sais que tu as l'Asperger's, tu sais que tu es ASPIE, tu as l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, puis je dis, ben, je pense pas, mais là, 5 ans, je commençais à étudier un peu, puis oui, j'ai les symptômes, j'ai des intérêts obsessifs, je répète 2-3 fois la même chose. J'ai le symptôme de l'écholélia, qui est un symptôme de l'Asperger. Ça veut dire qu'on répète des fois les choses que quelqu'un va nous dire. Des fois, on a tendance d'utiliser des mots trop sophistiqués, intellectuels, cosmopolites, ou trop académiques, ou trop complexes dans des discussions, dans des choses qui sont pas vraiment relevantes et qui sont pas vraiment... qui n'ont pas vraiment de besoin pour l'exprimer de même avec un vocabulaire plus dense, plus extravagant ou plus de ce genre de vocabulaire plus complexe. Donc, c'est ça les symptômes. Des fois, les aspies, on a tendance, on n'a pas connaissance des normes. On est étrange, des normes sociales, tu sais. Comme on va faire des choses, des mouvements corporels, puis des choses comme ça, étranges un peu pour ceux qui ne le sont pas, parce qu'on est une minorité, puis on est neurodivergent. C'est pas une maladie mentale, c'est une neurodivergence, puis on a nos forces, hein, les intérêts obsessifs. On y connaît tellement de choses dans ces intérêts obsessifs parce que ça préoccupe notre vie. Ça préoccupe le quotidien, puis on a une routine. Moi, je me réveille, tu sais. Je me réveille le matin, je fais mes salutations solaires, car je suis pas juste un artiste, athlète et philosophe, je suis aussi un mystique, puis c'est des choses que je fais moi-même, puis c'est des choses que je pratique au quotidien, puis c'est des choses que j'aime moi-même faire, puis c'est des choses que j'aime moi-même faire au quotidien. Venir ici à ma deuxième maison, puis votre dragon arc-en-ciel, des fois, messieurs, madame, des fois, monsieur, madame, 50-50, puis je suis là en réincarnation. Des fois, j'ai été né femme, des fois, j'ai été né homme, puis j'étais né un couple de fois direct sur l'île de Montréal. Un moment donné, j'étais une femme, je servais les coureurs de bois, je nettoyais les plaies, je faisais du manger, je faisais de la cuisine, je faisais du nettoyage, je faisais des choses comme ça. Ça, c'était dans une autre vie, tu sais, quand j'avais bien sûr dans cette autre vie. Ouais. Et là, ici aussi en septembre, ici en étant là, bien sûr que je me traverse dans la rue, c'est bien sûr des choses qu'il faut que je fasse moi-même. Il faut que je traverse, puis je m'en vais regarder ces petites langues ici. Ça. Pas comment ça s'appelle, mais... Oh. Ah, tu vois, je viens de trouver ça. Là. Ça, il faut pas laisser ça dans la poubelle, là, comme ça. Ça, il faut pas laisser ça dans la poubelle. Là. Faut mettre ça dans la poubelle. Laissez ça, pas dans les fleurs. Là. Hydrogel Sports. C'est du hydrogel. Tu sais, vous avez les fleurs, ça les puris pendant l'hiver. J'ai trouvé ça là-bas, je suis allé sentir les fleurs, puis vous voyez, j'ai fait pour l'environnement, j'ai fait pour l'environnement des choses, puis ça prend du travail pour l'environnement en tant qu'individu, là. En tant qu'individu. Tu sais, mettez ça dans les poubelles, là. Tu sais, mettez ça dans les poubelles, ça, parce que je vais le mettre dans les poubelles parce que c'est comme du chimique, là, fait qu'il faut pas faire le scratch, puis c'est encore dedans, là. Mais là, tu sais, mettez ça dans les vidanges, là. Ça, dans les poubelles, là. Tu sais, je t'avais de sentir le fleur, tu sais, c'est important. C'est pour ça qu'on a les travailleurs publics, il faut mettre ça dans les poubelles. Faut mettre ça dans les poubelles, là. Faut mettre ça dans les poubelles. Je répète parce que c'est important de le faire, puis aussi parce que j'ai l'Asperger's. Puis l'Asperger's, puis moi, je suis un aspie jovial, tu sais, jovial. Quand même joyeux aujourd'hui, même si je vis un stress financier, je vis un stress financier. L'emploi, long terme, c'est difficile pour beaucoup d'Asperger's parce que c'est une neurodivergence. Puis il y en a qui disent même que c'est un point de transit vers une évolution. Ça, je ne sais pas, là, c'est des spéculations, mais j'ai vu un documentaire qui est sorti il y a 6 ans, 5 ans, 6 ans, 5 ans, voilà 6 ans, 5 ans, de BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation, qui dit, il y a des scientifiques et des psychologiques qui disent que, dans le fond, c'est un point de transition vers une certaine évolution. Ça, je ne sais pas. Écoutez, je connais ma géopolitique, je connais ma danse, qui est mon sport préféré, puis j'adore le sport, puis je sais que j'ai l'Asperger's, qui est aussi connu comme l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, puis bien sûr, je suis ASPIE, puis puis c'est ça, il faut que je vis avec ça, Donc, vivre avec ce Asperger, ça fait que j'ai des intérêts obsessifs. L'entraînement physique, le conditionnement physique, c'en est un. La danse, la géopolitique. Puis au point que j'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant en 2019. En octobre 2019, ça va faire 5 ans. Ça va faire 5 ans bientôt en octobre. Le 23, j'ai la preuve. J'ai ça en ligne. J'ai la preuve. Et donc, mes protocoles, mes initiatives, c'est seulement pour la défense, là, d'un point de vue défensif, tu sais, défensif. Il faut comprendre ça, qu'en 2019, puis après ça, quand j'ai survécu la COVID, c'était un point que j'ai adopté bien sûr, de la défense défensif. Fait que là, je vais pas les déranger, mais juste regarder un peu quand même la belle ville, là. On va aller par là-bas, on va aller en bas. Pas les déranger, mes citoyens qui sont là, pour faire un dérange, on va aller en bas. Je vais regarder un peu le soleil, bien sûr, un peu le soleil, bien sûr, pour que ça fasse du soleil. Ici, c'est la montagne, le Mont-Royal, tu sais. C'est super intéressant. Puis, je dois saluer quand même, faire une méditation, puis je retourne l'Asperger's, parce qu'aujourd'hui, je dédie cette marche, pas juste aux ASPIE, mais à ma soeur, mon ami anonyme, qui je voulais ça lui donner, acheter une maison, mes alliés armés, les fermiers, les bouchers, la jeunesse, les pompiers amour avec les pompiers amour au carpentier, amour au chantier, dans les chantiers de construction. Voilà, c'est la ville de Montréal. Et là, c'est mon pape qui regarde. Regardez, puis ça danse de chez nous, la belle province, puis des pop en avant, en arrière, puis ça rock'n'roll. Ça rock'n'roll 24 sur 24, pas de gêne, pas de problème. Encore le sentiment, ça face pour ça roule. Ça se débrouille, ça chatouille, ça se débrouille, ça la rouille, ça la brouille. La brume, les poèmes, poésie, la belle province, les montagnes qu'on peut pouvoir, les champs de patates, pas de navets dans la cerise. Tanterie à Montréal, les îles de la Madeleine, il y en a 2 Saint-Adrien, mais on s'en va à Saint-Damien. Ça jase, puis j'aime ça quand ça bouge. Des fesses, que ça soit homme, femme en arc-en-ciel, puis noir et blanc, puis arc-en-ciel. Descend, puis remonte dans vous guerre, que ça soit pas clair. Coup de tonnerre, coup de jazz, pas jazz. La danse, puis ça danse, puis regarde, ça chez nous, la pyramide. Ça, c'est mon gratte-ciel préféré. Mon gratte-ciel préféré, c'est la pyramide qui est là, bien sûr. C'est la pyramide. Et bien sûr, je dois saluer les travailleurs en construction qui ont bâti, les pompiers, les charpentiers, tous les pompiers sur la route. Amour, ceux qui vont changer des couches dans les garderies. Aujourd'hui, ça va changer bien des couches. Puis je dis comme protocole d'implémentation, avec amour, je dis à mon frère Bill Blair, le ministre de la Défense nationale, c'est bien sûr, comme je le considère comme mon oncle. Des fois, ma famille ici, les Québécois et Québécoises, et de ma famille, tous ceux qui viennent nous rejoindre, puis nos amours, nos frères et sœurs noirs, puis amour, puis câlin, puis tous ceux qui sont bien sûr les peuples indigènes, avec amour, réconciliation, puis bien sûr qu'on fasse pour bouger les montagnes, puis bien sûr pour en faire, bien sûr ici sur la montagne. Je salue, j'envoie de l'amour à tous ceux qui sont dans les fermes, champs de patates, et bien sûr dans les pompiers, les boulangers, les administrateurs, tous ceux bien sûr qui font du travail public, tous ceux bien sûr qui font le ménage, tous ceux bien sûr qui font ce travail d'administration, puis ce travail dans le public, et puis ce travail bien sûr qu'il faut qu'on fasse maintenant. Et bien sûr, c'est du travail de l'environnement, du travail pour les bouchers, pour les charpentiers, pour ceux qui font le travail alimentation, pour tous ceux qui sont de l'alimentation, tous ceux bien sûr qui font la cuisine, dans le ménage, dans les poutines, qui font bien sûr ce travail. Puis, qui font bien sûr ce travail maintenant à travers la belle province, les infirmières, les camionneurs, tous ceux bien sûr qui font le déménagement, tous ceux bien sûr qui font les pompiers, bien sûr qui font les camionneurs de l'Amérique du Nord, du Québec, du Canada, de l'Amérique du Nord. Je dois les saluer, envoyer un peu d'amour. Ça change des couches dans les garderies, ça cuisine, en main place par exemple, ça fait de la comédie plus que le rock'n'roll. Là, vous savez que j'en fais de la comédie aussi, je suis artiste, j'ai l'Asperger, je suis neurodivergent, ce n'est pas une maladie mentale. Encore une fois, l'Asperger's, vu qu'aujourd'hui, je vais parler plus de l'Asperger's que d'autres choses, même que je suis toujours en mode méditatif, puis c'est la géopolitique 24 sur 24, 24 sur 24, 24 sur 24. Hein. La géopolitique, c'est 24 sur 24. Je me réveille, je fais des analyses en géopolitique. Je regarde des nouvelles l'après-midi, le soir, puis l'entraînement physique, c'était pas mal ça ma routine depuis comme 7 ans, mais c'était pas mal ça ma routine. Puis bien sûr, j'adore venir ici penser, sûrement, vous me donnez de l'espoir, mais quand je vois le monde, les gens qui s'aiment, qui se tiennent par la main, qui se tiennent des câlins, puis qui se donnent de l'amour, puis un beau soleil fort de l'automne, puis ça, c'est le pape, le roi, bien sûr, puis moi-même, maintenant, mais je fais de la méditation solaire, bien sûr, puis je fais bien sûr de la méditation sur tout le travail qui a été fait pour bâtir, construire toute cette belle ville, la métropole de Montréal, là, puis j'aimerais ça y aller en haut, avoir la pyramide là-bas. C'est mon gratte-ciel préféré, celle-là, le gratte-ciel, avec la pyramide, puis maintenant je médite parce que je viens de voir des grues, puis je vous dis, les travailleurs en construction, amour, j'admire, je suis un partisan des travailleurs en construction. Je suis un partisan, travailleurs en construction, ça rock'n'roll, je vous aime. Puis les travailleurs de l'Hydro-Québec qu'on construit ensemble le pouce de centrale, puis qu'on ouvre des montagnes vis-à-vis s'il y a une guerre nucléaire. Puis vous savez, je suis comme en mode de la Troisième Guerre mondiale pour la défense seulement depuis octobre 2019. Puis ici sur la montagne, bien sûr, je encourage, puis je fais des méditations sur le travail public. Ça change les aqueducs. Imaginez tous les aqueducs qui ont été bâtis juste pour avoir de l'eau potable sur la montagne. La civilisation, c'est un privilège. le privilège de la civilisation c'est un privilège. C'est un privilège, la civilisation, bien sûr, c'est un privilège. Et bien sûr, c'est un privilège, la civilisation, tout ça, tout ce qu'on a. Du point de vue de tout ce qu'on a, là, c'est vraiment un gros privilège. Les ponts, les montagnes, les cerises, tout ce qu'on a, c'est vraiment un privilège. Hein. Imaginez-vous, tu sais, c'est des scénarios qu'il faut qu'on s'imagine maintenant. Là. Veux pas, on est quand même proche d'une guerre mondiale, peut-être nucléaire même, dans mon scénario en 2019, puis j'ai la preuve, hein. J'ai la preuve pour ça. J'ai la preuve pour ça, j'ai la preuve pour ça. 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 J'ai la preuve pour ça, j'ai la preuve pour ça. J'ai la preuve parce que j'ai bien sûr j'ai fait, bien sûr j'ai fait, bien sûr j'ai fait, bien sûr j'ai fait, bien sûr des... J'ai fait bien sûr j'ai fait bien sûr des analyses en octobre 2019. En octobre 2019, j'ai fait des analyses. Puis bien sûr, ces analyses-là, mais ça m'a fait que j'ai prépondérance. Puis c'est mon intérêt obsessif, la géopolitique. Et je suis un analyste théoricien en géopolitique qui a prévu la situation actuelle d'une manière générale, là, pas à chaque détail par détail, mais quand je viens de voir ce qui vient de se passer avec l'invasion de l'Ukraine, puis au Moyen-Orient, j'ai dit, wow, c'est parallèlement, qu'est-ce que j'ai prévu? Une conflagration internationale, soit une troisième guerre mondiale. Puis j'ai trouvé la vidéo, puis j'ai lu la vidéo, mais c'est moi-même qui a, parallèlement avec mon scénario de cette potentielle guerre nucléaire, j'ai créé un système d'entraînement physique. Et bien sûr, j'ai la vidéo. C'était en octobre 23, je l'ai mis sur YouTube, 2019, octobre 23, le 23 octobre 2019. Le 23 octobre 2019, le 23 octobre 2019, le 23 octobre 2019. Le 23 octobre 2019, le 23 octobre 2019. Et c'est ça que j'ai fait, c'est ça que j'ai fait bien sûr, fait qu'il faut faire attention. Faut faire attention, bien sûr, puis moi-même je marche, ici les branches ça tombe, fait que je dois toujours dire, bien sûr, avec les branches qui tombent, bien sûr, pour faire attention, puis que me tasser du point de ma cuisine, qui vient de passer, mon cousin, des fois, tu sais, c'est des choses qu'il faut que je fasse sur moi-même, bien sûr, de la convergence, puis c'est surtout ces choses-là ici que je fais de dans la biodiversité, puis ça me dérange pas si vous riez, mais si vous amène de la joie et du rire avec... Je sais que, tu sais, les mouvements corporels qu'on a, les ASPIE, ça peut être drôle, mais on est étrange dans le public, puis on a des symptômes, puis c'est des choses... On est direct aussi des fois, tu sais, juste nous demander des choses, puis là, je veux parler d'un symptôme, mais comment que les ASPIE, ceux qui ont l'autisme fonctionnel comme moi, l'Asperger's, le point de vue qu'on comprend pas, bien sûr, qu'on comprend ça, bien sûr, qu'on comprend pas, c'est parler dans le dos. Le parler dans le dos, tu sais, le gossip, là, le plaquetage dans le dos, c'est pas parce qu'on comprend, mais on comprend d'une manière neurodivergent. On comprend d'une manière de neurodivergence. Donc, nous, on n'engage pas dans ces choses-là. C'est parce qu'on ne comprend pas le besoin. On ne voit pas le besoin. Fait qu'on ne voit pas vraiment le besoin, le but dans ça. C'est pour ça les ASPIE, ceux qui ont l'autisme, d'habitude dans un milieu de travail ou quelque chose d'autre, on ne va pas engager dans ces choses-là. C'est parce que d'une manière différente. C'est ça la neurodivergence. La neurodivergence. La neurodivergence. Et ça, c'est un symptôme, mais c'est que nous, les ASPIE, tu sais, mettons dans un milieu de travail, on ne comprend pas. D'une manière, y a-t-il, nous, les ASPIE, les neurodivergents, puis les neurotypiques, ceux qui ne sont pas l'ASPIE, qui n'ont pas l'Asperger's, comme moi-même, l'autisme fonctionnel. Et donc, on ne comprend pas pourquoi quelqu'un va parler de choses sur une autre personne quand la personne n'est pas présente, ou des choses comme ça. Tu sais, les parler dans le dos, là. Nous, on règle plus, on aime ça plus régler direct, puis s'il y a quelque chose, juste nous le demander, le faire, mais on comprend pas le but. Fait qu'on a de misère avec ça. c'est une chose que, tu sais, beaucoup de gens s'engagent, puis c'est juste qu'à cause de l'Asperger's, nous, on s'engage pas dans ça parce que on va discuter plus des idées, tu sais. Des idées, bien sûr. Des idées qu'on a, bien sûr. Plus des idées, des faits, des choses à faire, plus pratique. Fait qu'on ne voit pas vraiment le point, tu sais. On va bien sûr engager des choses, des idées, bien sûr. Fait qu'on va faire l'engagement des idées. On va faire l'engagement pour faire des choses. On va s'engager de ce point-là. Mais parler dans le dos, comme quelqu'un, surtout pendant longtemps, on est comme... On se bloque, on comprend pas. On le comprend de notre manière de parler de quelqu'un qui a besoin de quelque chose ou le dire. Mais mettons, là, comme un scénario de travail, tu sais. Mettons, il y a une hiérarchie, puis quelqu'un dit quelque chose, puis là, il y a des choses contradictoires. Mais il y a des choses, ben, ils disent non, ils disent oui, puis pourquoi t'as mis ça là, puis ça va pas là? Pourquoi qu'elle a dit ça? Qui a dit ça? Qui a dit ça? Pourquoi qu'elle a dit ça? Là, tu commences à parler de la personne. Nous, on va dire, mais on y va parler, puis on va trouver la solution, puis on les dit, puis la prochaine fois, on va savoir, that's it, that's all rock and roll. C'est ça, l'Asperger's. C'est ça. Donc, nous, ces choses-là, parler dans le dos des autres, on va parler des idées. Les idées que les gens y ont, les idées, hein, les philosophies, les actions, les services qu'ils peuvent offrir. On voit les choses de cette manière-là. Fait que quand quelqu'un a commencé à parler de quelqu'un comme que ce soit n'importe quoi, on va parler des idées. En place de parler de la personne, nécessairement, ouais, du point de vue négatif de la personne. Parce qu'on comprend pas. Du point de vue social, tu sais, pourquoi quelqu'un va s'engager pendant des heures à parler de quelqu'un d'autre? On comprend pas ces choses-là, sociales. Si vous me parlez des idées de quelqu'un, oui, mais là, si vous me parlez de quelqu'un, ça, moi aussi, j'ai des fautes, je suis dans certaines choses, je suis médiocre, là, comme ça, comme si la personne n'est pas là, tu sais, parler dans le dos, on comprend pas. On comprend comme qu'il n'y a pas de but, comme ça sert à rien. Nous, c'est comme, si ça sert à quelque chose, ben, le plaisir pour le but, pour la construction, pour des choses comme ça, ben, là, on est dedans, on va discuter des idées ou des philosophies, comme si vous voulez discuter, moi quand je dis ben, le privilège de la civilisation, ou ma thèse qui a été présentée en 2023, qui s'appelle le privilège de la civilisation, regardez, je vous dis un exemple, là, juste pour avoir de l'eau potable ici. Combien que ça a pris, combien ça a pris, combien ça a pris, combien que ça a pris, combien ça a pris pour juste avoir de l'eau ici. Imaginez-vous ici combien que ça a pris, bien sûr, pour avoir de l'eau potable juste ici sur la montagne. Tellement de travail en dessous de la terre. Je remercie, je ne les connais pas, tu sais, au 20e siècle, ce qu'ils ont fait, mais ça a pris bien du travail pour avoir de l'eau potable. Imaginez, là, en dessous de la terre, tout ce travail qui a été fait, là, pour avoir ça, pour avoir de l'eau ici. Une grosse méditation, puis on a besoin de faire du renouveau de l'infrastructure, là-dessus. Là. C'est quelque chose qu'il faut qu'on fasse, tu sais. Fait que nous, on comprend pas ces choses-là. Je vais boire, m'hydrater, puis continuer à discuter, bien sûr, ces choses-là. Oh, les hélicoptères, ça, j'en veux pour l'armée du dragon. On s'hydrate, là. Fait que je vais aller faire un peu dans le soleil, dans le soleil. Là. Et bien sûr, on va s'hydrater. J'adore les hélicoptères. Et voilà. Fait qu'on va vous présenter la ville un peu. Puis après ça, on rediscute. Et voilà. Je dois saluer les hélicoptères. Ils s'en vont vers le sud. Ça, c'est le sud. Ça, c'est comme l'ouest. Fait que là, on peut dire, si on fait un calcul en géopolitique, quelle distance pensez-vous qu'ils sont? Une distance de... Pour faire une spéculation, mais la hauteur, altitude, distance. L'altitude, ça serait quand même 1500 mètres, peut-être 1 kilomètre en haut. Puis la distance d'ici, ben, je dirais peut-être, c'est dur à dire, hein? Moi, je dirais quand même 13 kilomètres. 13 kilomètres de distance. 13,3 kilomètres. Mais il y a un chiffre exact. Exactement, c'est ceux qui avancent, fait que la distance toujours s'éloigne hein, du point d'où qu'on est rendu. Fait qu'il y a toujours une distance, hein, qui s'éloigne. Puis je sais qu'ils s'en vont vers le sud. Fait qu'en faisant une méthode dans la géopolitique pour la défense, s'il y a une invasion, bien sûr, s'il y aurait une invasion, genre, qui nous envahisse, il faudrait qu'on sécurise tout ça. Il faudrait qu'on sécurise les ponts. Fait que la sécurité des ponts, ça serait en premier. Fait que c'est les ponts, gauche à droite, puis qu'on ferme l'île. Mettons, s'il y a une invasion d'une armée, ça serait fermer l'île. Fait qu'on devrait mettre les ponts, pour pas qu'ils passent. Fait que ça, c'est ça qu'il faut qu'on fasse. S'il y a une invasion, la théorie, on bloque les ponts, ça va être bloquer les ponts. Fait que ça, c'est 24 sur 24, ça. Ça, c'est des stratégies de défense. Ça, c'est des stratégies de défense 24 sur 24. Fait que pour faire une stratégie, s'il y a une invasion, ça serait bien sûr faire une invasion pour faire bien sûr cette défense pour la géopolitique, bien sûr, qui est mon entraînement. La géopolitique, maintenant, s'il y a une invasion, bien sûr, ça serait bien sûr pour faire la défense, ça serait bloqué pour pas qu'ils envahissent l'île, ça serait bloquer les ponts. Vous voyez, c'est ça la géopolitique. C'est 24 sur 24, puis ça prend de la défense, puis la guerre, la géopolitique, c'est 24 sur 24. Ça, c'est mon intérêt obsessif. Fait que là, vous avez, j'ai vu ces hélicoptères, puis je les ai complètement intégrés avec, intégrés, bien sûr, complètement intégrés. Voir ça, les hélicoptères, avec l'analyse. Salut, ça va bien? Oh yeah, financially stressed, but I'm okay. I love coming here. I love doing geopolitical meditations. And you, what are you up to?
Oh, doing a healthy walk. Having a cigarette now.
Cigarettes? Oh, I don't smoke cigarettes.
I'm quitting, so I had one already for the whole morning.
Oh yeah, one for the whole morning, eh?
But doing the walk changes. I feel
you,
better.
you feel better?
Yeah, when you have normally I'd smoke half a pack by now.
La-
Up at 5. Woke up at 5, had one, and then
Wow, how much it costs if you don't mind me asking?
for what?
A pack of cigarettes.
Oh, they're like $17 now.
Ooh, last time I paid, it was 7 years ago. I got a Camel pack. I was in, I bought 5 packs. I went on a trip, 2017. 5 packs of Camel. Those were my last cigarettes 7 years ago. I went in Vancouver, BC, then I went in Halifax.
Did you cold turkey quit?
Yeah,
That's what I'm gonna do.
I
As soon
don't.
as this pack is empty, it's like.
But 17? Wow, it went up a lot.
Oh yeah, it's really expensive.
I think I paid like 9 for each.
Yeah, I remember
7 years ago. 7 years ago.
tax.
Where are you
I'm
from?
already dizzy now. I just smoked this really slow, and I'm like, ooh.
Where are you from?
Montreal.
Okay, I thought maybe you came from the States. I love helicopters.
Do you?
Yeah,
I noticed him flying. It's just tubes coming down.
yeah.
Look what you're doing.
Salute. I love it.
Well, I gotta go. So, have a good day.
You too, be well. By the way, I have Asperger's, eh? You know what Asperger's is? It's a neurological mental divergent condition. It's not a mental illness, it's just that I have obsessive interests and I tend to get too close to people and I tend to repeat things and I'm neurodivergent, I'm socially awkward.
No, I'm bipolar, so I used to take medication, and now I walk and I do yoga.
There's no medication for Asperger's. It's high functioning autism, Asperger's, also known as HFA. I have obsessive interests. I have, if I start discussing geopolitics, I have to be told to stop because I don't have the social cues awareness and stuff like that. So I gotta work on. We repeat things and stuff like that. Anyways, buddy.
I do the same thing, so The reason I said I have to go is if I don't go, I won't make it back down.
He's gotta go.
Exactly.
Wearing some of those good shades. Old school buddy, gonna quit those cigarettes.
That's my goal. Tomorrow, no more cigarettes, cold turkey.
I hope you get it. Get some hugs.
Yeah, I
Listen.
used to be on medications like Rivotril and Valiums, and it took me a year to get off them and a year to walking to get rid of the vertigo. You know?
Well, you made it up the top, maybe. You made it up the top.
Third time in the last several weeks.
You made it up to the top.
Because I gotta go. I've been out since 4 in the morning, so.
Love you later, buddy. So tomorrow, if I see you, no cigarettes.
No.
Good luck. Good luck.
7, you gotta go back.
70. Bye, buddy. 70, 70, 70. Il dit qu'il y a 70, mais c'est possible, mais bien sûr, je vais le méditer, mais je dois bien sûr lui dire, bien sûr, de faire de la méditation, de la méditation là-dessus. Fait que c'est des choses, bien sûr, qu'il faut qu'on fasse, puis c'est des choses, bien sûr, que faut que je fasse la méditation moi-même. Puis vous voyez, quand j'ai vu les hélicoptères, toujours ma tête est tournée fonctionnelle vers la géopolitique, vers la géopolitique, vers la géopolitique, vers la géopolitique. Fait que c'est des choses comme ça. Ah oui, on s'hydrate, on salue les travailleurs qui l'ont fait bâtir au 20e siècle. Let's go. Oh, ouais. Fait que vous voyez comment que ça fonctionne, l'Asperger's. Je viens de voir les hélicoptères. J'ai fait une méditation, puis là, c'est tourné toujours vers mon intérêt obsessif. C'est pour ça, les ASPIE, on a ces intérêts obsessifs. On va lier, puis on va penser à les choses qu'on est obsédé par. Puis moi, c'est ma trinité, c'est la géopolitique. La géopolitique, la géopolitique, la géopolitique, avec l'entraînement physique, avec l'entraînement physique, l'entraînement physique, l'entraînement physique, bien sûr l'entraînement physique, l'entraînement physique, l'entraînement physique, bien sûr avec l'entraînement physique, ben, le sport, l'entraînement physique, tout ce qu'il y a à faire avec le fitness. Fait que la géopolitique, c'est 24 sur 24, l'entraînement physique, la danse, et bien sûr le rock'n'roll, ma trinité. Géopolitique, sport, soit danse, qui est mon sport préféré, puis bien sûr le rock'n'roll. Fait qu'en voyant les hélicoptères que j'aime, j'ai toujours fait, j'ai connecté avec l'analyse en géopolitique, puis en géopolitique, les événements majeurs de la géopolitique, c'est bien sûr la guerre, la guerre, la guerre. Là, j'ai fait une méditation d'une possible invasion, mais parce que veut pas, on s'est impliqué dans des guerres, on soutient des pays, on a pris des positions, mais pas moi-même, là, pas nous, là, mais là, les chefs, les dirigeants. Ça ne dérange pas quelle position que je prends. Ma position principale, il faut que ça soit compris, c'est pour la défense de ce que j'appelle en tant que philosophe, artiste, analyste et théoricien en géopolitique, comme le complexe de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord. Soit de l'Amérique du Nord, dans le fond, de l'Amérique du Nord. Le complexe nord-américain. Le complexe nord-américain. Il faut tenir compte de ça. Il faut tenir compte que c'est principalement pour la défense. La défense de qu'est-ce que j'appelle le collectif de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord. Et bien sûr, le rock'n'roll, ça en prend. Avec les chiens qui sont en laisse, il faut que je fasse attention parce que j'ai certaines allergies aux poils des chiens, des poils longs puis épais. Fait qu'en rentrant ici dans la forêt, il faut moi-même que j'avise et puis que je fasse, bien sûr, fasse attention. J'avertis les autres, des branches qui tombent comme ceux-là. Là. Vous voyez toutes ces branches-là, là? Ça c'est la preuve. Toutes ces choses-là, là, toutes ces choses-là, là, ici, là, ben, toutes ces choses-là, c'est des branches qui ont tombé, là. C'est des branches qui ont tombé, tu sais. C'est des branches qui ont tombé. Fait que c'est ça, tu vois toutes les branches qui tombent par là, par là, par là. C'est des branches qui sont tombées, là. Celle-là est grosse, par exemple. Ça tombe, ça... Celle-là aussi, fait que faut que je fasse attention moi-même. Je l'ai vécu, puis je l'ai sur caméra quelque part, là, un couple de mois, puis c'est tombé comme là-bas quelque part. J'étais dans la forêt, dans la montagne, puis c'est tombé dans la branche. Pac! C'était une grosse, mais c'était quand même 44 verges. Bon, de retour à l'Asperger's, parce qu'aujourd'hui c'est principalement pour l'Asperger's. Vous voyez, j'ai vu les hélicoptères, puis salutations à nos forces de sécurité de l'armée canadienne. Je suis pour la défense, le centrisme, mais je suis seulement pour la défense. Encore une fois, il faut comprendre que mes philosophies, mes théories, c'est seulement, principalement, pour la défense de ce que j'appelle le grand collectif de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord sur le complexe de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord. Le grand collectif civilisationnel de l'Amérique du Nord, le grand collectif de civilisation nord-américain. Fait que la défense, j'ai ma théorie qui va commencer peut-être demain, ça serait la de défense mobile, que j'appelle la défense, la théorie de la défense mobile totale citoyenne intégrée, la théorie de la défense mobile citoyenne intégrée, la théorie de la défense totale intégrée citoyenne. Fait que ça a été de la défense de côte à côte. Défense. On joue la défense. Moi, je joue la défense, comme j'adore les points de vue de défensif, et c'est ça pas mal pour mes principes. Fait que ça ne dérange pas les positions nécessairement. Je peux dire que je suis principalement pour le collectif nord-américain. Puis tous ceux qui viennent nous rejoindre, mes frères et sœurs noirs, 13,3, 13,4%, avec laquelle on vit, c'est nos frères et sœurs, puis on a du racisme, puis des fois du subconscient, peut-être moi-même, mais je mets sur la table pour mes frères et sœurs noirs, puis de tous ceux qui vivent en Amérique du Nord, tous les peuples qui vivent, tous les gens qui vivent, les êtres humains qui vivent, la même chose, en premier, des bisous, des câlins, des chatouilles, puis Concordia Salus, puis on travaille ensemble, mais je suis neurodivergent, puis les ASPIE, on est une minorité, puis vous voyez mes intérêts obsessifs. Quand j'ai vu les hélicoptères, j'ai vu qu'ils traversent, j'ai fait une théorie dans la géopolitique, puis cette théorie de la géopolitique, ça a fait bien sûr que j'ai pensé vraiment dans qu'est-ce que le point majeur de la géopolitique, qui est la guerre, la guerre ou l'invasion. Fait que j'ai spéculé à une invasion, et c'est possible, on sait jamais, là, d'où qu'on est rendu maintenant, là. C'est possible, parce qu'on a pris une position, on s'est fait des ennemis. La Russie, ben, même si je connais la philosophie de Vladimir Poutine, je suis québécois, canadien, nord-américain, ici c'est chez nous, puis dans une autre vie, puis dans celle-là, puis personnellement, je me considère pas un membre d'une diaspora, je suis arc-en-ciel, messieurs, madame, 50-50, votre androgène pansexuel qui aime ça le sadomasochisme. Et c'est bien sûr des choses, bien sûr que moi-même, je dois y faire des compromis au quotidien. Quand je viens ici, ben, c'est un compromis. Je viens ici, ben, il faut que je fasse un compromis avec des autres citoyens de tous âges, tu sais. Puis, that's all rock and roll. Puis, c'est pour ça que je les avise aussi, tu sais. Puis j'ai de la noirceur, j'ai des choses aussi, des fois je suis à matin et tout ça, mais j'ai conquis la dépression, j'étais en dépression suicidaire, j'ai survécu la COVID. Aujourd'hui, c'est le dernier jour de célébration, 7 ans. En 2017, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte, là. J'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte. J'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte, et bien sûr, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte. Et en traversant le Canada de côte à côte, ça m'a fait sortir de la dépression, puis j'ai fait de famille, je dis, ouais, c'est de ma famille, veux pas, j'ai sorti de la dépression, j'ai créé mon propre système d'entraînement, j'ai fait des vidéos, j'ai travaillé bien sûr indépendant, tant que artiste athlète indépendant, j'ai eu des emplois durant la COVID, bien d'emplois durant la COVID, mais bon, c'est sûr qu'avec l'Asperger's, en étant neurodivergent, c'est quand même difficile, toute l'évolution et tout ça, parce que c'est une condition de neurodivergence qui est encore un peu mal comprise, l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, puis j'ai vu un documentaire qui dit que c'est un pas vers l'évolution, mais moi je suis pas sûr de ça, là, mais je sais que je suis Asperger, je suis neurodivergent, puis vous voyez, dans ma tête, quand j'ai vu les hélicoptères, ça a toujours relié ça à des événements, puis de l'analyse en géopolitique, parce que je suis un analyste et théoricien en géopolitique. Ces hélicoptères-là, c'était-tu nos hélicoptères? C'était-tu les hélicoptères des États-Unis? Hein? Puis c'est sûr que la guerre, mais c'est l'événement principal majeur des événements en géopolitique. La guerre entre deux pays, pays-États, désormais, c'est l'événement majeur. Avec ça, il y a l'économie, la politique, la philosophie et tout le reste culturel puis civilisationnel de la géopolitique. Et bien sûr, c'est ce que je suis. Un analyste et théoricien en géopolitique, un artiste, athlète, philosophe et un mystique. Je crois à la spiritualité, le pape, le soleil, mon pape. Puis c'est des choses que je dois vivre avec, mais même si je vis un stress financier maintenant, je suis en stress financier, mais je suis quand même joyeux pour la gratitude, tu sais, mon loyer est payé. J'ai payé mon loyer, j'ai payé ma facture d'électricité, puis je retourne au sommet, on va retourner à Montréal, là-bas, au bout, puis je vais voir si j'ai assez d'argent pour payer mon loyer. J'ai quand même payé un beau loyer, puis c'est mieux où j'habite maintenant, où j'habitais avant. Puis j'ai un blackout comme de mémoire, là, je m'en souviens avoir déménagé, mais il y avait beaucoup de moisissures. Il y avait beaucoup de moisissures où j'habitais, là, puis il y avait beaucoup de moisissures, fait que... Beaucoup de moisissures. J'ai sorti de là, la moisissure. J'ai déménagé, j'étais en dépression suicidaire. En 2017, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte. J'ai commencé à m'entraîner. En 2019, j'ai créé mon propre système d'entraînement physique pour y aller parallèlement avec une situation similaire à aujourd'hui. Puis en 2020, février, j'ai eu la COVID. C'était comme la mort, la pestilence, la maladie. C'était comme la mort, la pestilence, la maladie. C'était comme la mort, la pestilence, la maladie. C'était comme la mort, la pestilence, puis la maladie. C'était vraiment comme la mort, la pestilence, la maladie. Je sais que ça sonne comme une chanson de rock'n'roll, mais c'est pas ça. Faites des pompes décalées. Hop. Je me tasse de son chemin, le cycliste. Je me tasse pour ce... Je me tasse de son chemin, le cycliste. C'est pour ça que je me suis arrêté, pour sa sécurité à lui, sa liberté ici, tu sais. Son travail, son entraînement physique, puis j'aime ça les voir. J'aime ça vous voir faire du cyclisme. J'aime ça vous voir faire de l'entraînement physique, la danse. J'aime ça vous voir vous donner des câlins. J'aime ça vous voir vous donner des bisous. J'aime ça vous voir vous embrasser. Tu sais, moi je vous embrasse, moi, homme-femme. Hein? Je fais l'amour en arc-en-ciel. Vous voulez faire l'amour, là? Vous voulez faire l'amour en rock'n'roll, bien comme il le faut, il n'y a pas de problème. Juste me le demander entre adultes, là. Adulte, là. Je vous carte, hein, comme à discothèque. Je veux carte, tabarnak. En passant le mot tabarnak, ça vient du tabernacum, du latin. Puis ici, j'ai des flashs depuis 7 ans et plus quand je viens ici des réincarnations. Des fois, j'étais né homme-femme. Bon, moi, ça, c'est d'autres choses spirituelles, je ne vais pas rentrer dedans. Moi, je retourne dans la géopolitique. Vous voyez, quand j'ai vu les hélicoptères, j'ai fait des calculs, puis ces calculs-là, mais ça a toujours fait des choses, des calculs, bien sûr, vis-à-vis, bien sûr, ces calculs, s'ils étaient vis-à-vis les calculs de géopolitique. Parce que c'est 24 sur 24, avec les ASPIE, nos intérêts obsessifs. Puis même avec le monsieur, tantôt, je parlais en anglais, qui arrête de fumer, qui dit demain, ben, je voulais parler de la géopolitique sans me tenter. Mais j'ai eu le contrôle parce que je dis, ben, je me contrôle les symptômes. Parce que les ASPIE, il n'y a pas de médicaments pour les Aspergers, pour les autistes hautement fonctionnels. Comme moi-même, c'est ça l'Asperger, c'est l'autisme hautement fonctionnel. Dans nos intérêts obsessifs, quand on voit faire l'entraînement physique, je suis tellement dedans, c'est ça, on est intense. En géopolitique, on a une intensité, on se dédie. On est focusé, mais on oublie ça l'office de la langue française, là, mais on est focusé, on est dedans, on est intense. Puis moi, ma trinité, quand je fais du rock'n'roll, je suis intense. Quand j'analyse la géopolitique, je fais des théories. Puis bien sûr, l'entraînement physique, soit la danse, qui est mon sport préféré. C'est Asperger's. Là, je veux discuter de la théorie de la refusion de la dette avant qu'on finisse pour regarder, pour voir l'argent de la reine. La théorie de la refusion de la dette, je la mets sur la table, là, puis ça sort encore de la malédiction de l'Asperger's. Et bien sûr, c'est quoi? Là, il est 9h51. Puis bien sûr, la théorie de la refusion de la dette. C'est la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Donc, je vais vous la parler maintenant. La TRD, c'est quoi? la théorie de la refusion de la dette. TRD, théorie, la refusion. Yes. Théorie de la refusion de la dette. Donc, c'est la seule et unique solution. Pourquoi je dis c'est la seule et unique solution? C'est quoi la TRD? Ça tient pour T, théorie, R, refusion, D de la dette. Et bien sûr, aujourd'hui, pourquoi je dis que c'est la seule et unique solution pour nous sauver comme solution, parce que c'est ça l'ASPIE, on pense en termes plus des solutions. Et bien sûr, c'est des choses comme ça, bien sûr. Il faut que je confesse, c'est des choses comme ça qu'il faut qu'on fasse. C'est des choses comme ça qu'il faut qu'on fasse. Et bien sûr, c'est des choses comme ça qu'il faut qu'on fasse. Et bon, je fais la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Théorie de la refusion de la dette. Théorie de la refusion de la dette. La TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Fait qu'on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée. Toute la dette publique-privée. Toute la dette publique-privée. Donc, pourquoi je dis que c'est la seule et unique solution? C'est parce qu'on paye aujourd'hui 46,5 milliards d'intérêts. 46,5 milliards d'intérêts. 46,5 milliards. Ça, c'est le montant d'intérêt qu'on paye sur la dette publique du Canada. C'est le montant qu'on paye d'intérêt sur la dette publique du Canada. C'est le montant qu'on paye de l'intérêt sur la dette publique du Canada. C'est le montant qu'on paye sur la dette publique canadienne. 46,5 milliards. Milliards. 46,5 milliards d'intérêt. C'est ça qu'on paye sur la dette publique. 1 milliard, c'est en 9 zéros, c'est 1000 millions sur 1 milliard. Là, il n'y a pas d'autre solution, il n'y a pas d'autre solution que la TRD. Fait que je vous l'explique le plus possible, le plus simplement possible, parce que l'Asperger's, c'est une condition de neurodivergence, puis des fois on utilise des mots, du vocabulaire trop sophistiqué, intellectuel, académique, trop complexe, trop divergent, tu sais. Fait que la TRD, c'est théorie de la refusion de la dette, c'est la seule et unique solution. C'est la seule et unique solution, 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 c'est la seule et unique. C'est la seule et unique solution, c'est la seule et unique solution. Donc on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée. On va aller par ici. On va prendre toute la dette publique-privée. Fait que ma dette, votre dette, ta dette, ma tienne, la mienne, la vôtre, toute la dette publique-privée, mon 10 000, ton 10 000, toute la dette publique-privée de côte à côte. Encore une fois, la TRD, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire, c'est exactement ce qu'ils ont fait en Europe. Fait qu'on va prendre toute la dette, mon 10 000, ton 10 000, mon 10 000, le tien, le mien, le vôtre, le nôtre. Toute la dette publique-privée, là. Mon 10 000 en tant que citoyen, j'ai 10 000 de dette. Fait que de côte à côte, toute la dette publique-privée. Toute cette dette-là, on va la mettre ensemble dans un paquet. Vu que la devise des États-Unis est encore la monnaie de change pour le commerce global, le monde des affaires internationales, l'import, l'export, toute la dette publique-privée, 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 tout cet argent-là, de côte à côte, on va ramasser ensemble. On va ramasser ensemble. On va ramasser ensemble. On va mettre tout cet argent-là ensemble. On va faire la conversion, puis tenez compte que ma théorie, ça inclut la théorie d'intégration monétaire. Qu'est-ce que c'est la théorie d'intégration monétaire? C'est exactement ce qu'ils ont fait en Europe. Ils ont fait des années 80 la création d'une banque centrale et d'une unité d'échange commune. L'euro, puis la Banque centrale européenne. Les Allemands, les Italiens, les Français n'ont plus de banque centrale, une banque centrale commune. Donc, ma théorie, ça contient cette théorie d'intégration monétaire. Fait qu'on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, 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 toute la dette publique-privée. Fait que de côte à côte, de côte à côte, de côte à côte, toute la dette publique-privée, tout cet argent-là, on va ramasser ensemble. On va faire la conversion de toute cette dette-là dans devise des États-Unis. Dans devise des États-Unis, dans devise des États-Unis, dans devise des États-Unis, dans devise des États-Unis. On va ramasser avec les États-Unis, ça peut être avec le Mexique, l'Amérique du Nord. Tout cet argent-là, converti, ça va mettre toute la dette publique privée, ça va être l'argent initial pour une nouvelle banque. La Banque de l'Amérique du Nord, comme on fait en Europe, mais c'est Canada premièrement. Mais l'argent public-privé, toute cette dette, ça va fonder, ça va être l'argent initial pour cette nouveau argent qu'on va appeler UI. En anglais, c'est pareil. C'est U point unité, un point échange universel. U point unité, un point échange universel. UI. UI, U point unité, E point échange universel. Toute la dette publique-privée convertie dans la devise des États-Unis, on va créer cette nouvelle monnaie qui va être basée sur la valeur du dollar des États-Unis. On va mettre un taux d'intérêt de 10% maximum, ça peut être 3,33, 7,18, 6,1, 9,3, 1,56, et ainsi de suite. En bas de 10 par principe. On va faire un gel de prix du beurre, prix du pain, prix du lait, prix du fromage, prix du bacon, prix d'autres prix. Avec cet argent-là, on va pouvoir financer les gens à l'entraînement physique, bâtir d'autres centrales de l'Hydro-Québec, rebâtir l'infrastructure du collectif nord-américain, fonder l'armée du dragon pour la défense, l'armée de la danse qui danse de l'Amérique du Nord, pour le nettoyage, pour mettre plus de travail de l'environnement, pour faire du travail comme qui ont fait d'avant. Merci, pour l'embellissement, C'est ça la solution. La TRD, théorie de la diffusion de la dette pour la création de l'IWI. Il n'y a pas d'autre solution. Il n'y en a pas d'autre solution. Vous pouvez vous ostiner de la gauche, de la droite. On paye 46,5 milliards. Ça a doublé à cause de la COVID. En 2020, 2022, c'était 20,3. 20,3 fois 2, c'est 40,6. C'est 46,5 milliards. C'est 46 000 millions d'intérêts seulement qu'on paye. C'est la seule et unique solution. Pour la création de l'Louis, Dragon Arc-en-Ciel, l'amour et santé.